Well, all right. I think it's working. Hey, hi everybody. Welcome. How you doing? Good to see you. A bit of an update. I'm definitely going to have to do a little bit of like visual house cleaning during the show itself today. Like fixing that little green screen seam that was not happening, and I may be position-wise off kilter. I'll just lean over here. The computer's back. Thank you, Mike. The computer that died a horrible, horrible death. Thanks to our patrons, we got RAM. Now, I could have the Mac that I'm using, which is a workhorse. It's I've edited all the sexy liberal sketches on it. It's been hanging in there. I'm not one of these dudes who just like buys a computer every time it comes out, like somebody who leases cars. The Mac I'm using is a 2013 Mac Pro, which I didn't even at the time. I think it's just the 6 processors. Yeah, 6 cores. Yeah, it's a 6 core. It's not. They had offered 8, 10, and 12. Now the new ones have like 100, whatever. Talk about changing your computer like a car. For God's sake, the new Mac Pros, which are sweet, like I've seen them tricked out up to $50,000. Are you out of your mind? What? I'm sorry. There is a return on investment where buying 8 smaller ones makes more sense. If you're going to start a render farm, I don't know how fast they think this crap can be. It's just a little silly. But hey, if you work at Pixar and you can afford it, get 10 of them. I don't know, whatever. But anyways, I reinstalled the RAM on it. And for those of you that don't know, it was, thank you, Erica. For those of you that don't know, there was and by the way, there's a bunch of new emotes for hype trains that I put in there, and a couple of them are from Can't Stop Lying, so enjoy. And there are memberships on YouTube. I'm just jumping straight into the conversation. I feel like we hang out every day. It's not. I don't feel like this is a show. Maybe that's my major malfunction. But so basically, anybody who's had like the spinning beach ball of death or some sort of like major computer crash has experienced the kind of frustrating, I've tried everything. And in this particular case, the computer wouldn't even launch. The little bar that lets you know that it's loading when it first starts up, usually after a crash, would literally get like a 16th of an inch and then a 16th and then a 16th, like full shutdowns, and then try to start down. Like it was bad. And it was just cycling like that. And if it keeps doing that, it's going to destroy itself. It's just horrifying. So it was, so anyways, I unplugged it, took it to the Genius Bar, because I hooked it up to my other Mac. I couldn't even get it to wake up. I was like, maybe they can wake it up for me and then I can fix it. And they basically said the RAM is dead. So the RAM was dead. So we replaced it, and thank you. This computer will take 128 gigs aftermarket, overclocked, but 64 gig standard. I opted to go with the 64 so as to not tempt the fates by shoving 128 gigs of RAM that, may or may not work, and adding another 2 weeks to trying to figure out what this problem was. So boring, but that's how it happened. And now it's up and running. So fingers crossed it'll run well during the show. Everything seems to be going smoothly. See the little hands falling into the thing? Bloop, bloop. That's so fun. Those are little Zoltan hands, by the way. And yeah, there's all kinds of, because of the emotes that go with them, there's all kinds of options for things going into the jar now, too. I've messed around behind the scenes while everything else was collapsed. So it's been good. It did not have the China virus. No. Zoltan. So lots to get to today. I want to, I wish I didn't have to, but I want to address something right away that's one of the Republican members of the House when they're talking about the Equality Act. And all I know is the dude quotes Deuteronomy in the piece, which is in modern society, in a separation of church and state, secular society and the like, lawmakers are supposed to have a very distinct, thank you, Tracy. I love you guys up in the north as well, and I miss Canada very much. I loved living there. It was a beautiful time. Although Toronto breaks my heart every time I go there. I have a lot of life there. There was a lot of life on those streets. I'm just saying. Just a lot of life. Thank you, Dustin. So yeah, he quotes Deuteronomy. And that's old school. If you're quoting Deuteronomy in an attempt to show your bona fides as a Christian, as far as how you cling to the word of the Lord, understand that I know you not to be a Christian in those terms, because all of Deuteronomy is basically wiped out by the Gospels. It really is. So, anyways, going all the way. I do have a PayPal. Thanks for asking. PayPal.me/HalSparks. It pops up sometimes, but there you go. And we're at a level 3 hype train already. It's going to be a good show. So let me show you. Again, I haven't watched this. I don't pre-watch this. I try to be charming on the fly. And I will be fixing the lighting on the green screen. It'll be a little crunchy for the day because quite frankly, this was entirely dismantled 2 hours ago. and then I had family FaceTime, so everything goes on pause, and then I had to literally plug everything back in. Yeah. Voila. So this is, and of course, no. If you're a true Christian, the person you want introducing you is Jim. Look the other way. Gays have it coming. Sexual assault is only real if it happens to women that are in my family. Jordan. Yeah, here we go.
3 minutes to the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Stubbe.
Gentleman from
3 minutes. More than he will ever need to have a continuing career, by the way. I mean, I'm sure he's got, he can be an associate professor at a televangelist
Florida
school.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Unlike most speeches you'll hear on this floor today, I'm going to start with the truth.
Oh, okay. So it's a good way to start is call all of your, like most, and he said most of the speeches given, call everyone liars. I think that's... technically speaking, and you can kind of look it up on your own or come to your own conclusion on it, that would be bearing false witness.
Deuteronomy 22:5 states a woman must not.
We're going deep. Deuteronomy 22:5. What is Deuteronomy 22:5 is, if I'm not mistaken, the anti-cross-dressing. We're talking about the Equality Act. This is obviously transgenderism is panicking them. Let's see.
Woman must not wear men's clothing, nor man wear women's clothing for the...
Excuse me. We've all been to Hot Topic and gone, I know those pants aren't made for me, but they fit so well. I mean, who hasn't wandered around Forever 21 and gone, I know this jacket's in the ladies section, but what am I doing abs for anyways?
For the Lord your God detests anyone who does this. Now,
oh, does he? The Lord your God detests anyone who does this. What about kilts? Kilts are for men. Don't get it confused. It's completely different. It's where the buttons go.
This verse isn't concerned about clothing styles, but with...
Yes, it is, actually. Yes, it is. It is not. It is totally separate. There's the gay ones, which is what you usually cling to, right? And those are about if a man lay with another man as with a woman, and if a woman presents herself as a man and a man, all that, that's different. This is literally about clothing. The same way you're not supposed to wear two types of fabric on the same body because God hates it just as much. So understand this. God hates cross-dressing, according to Deuteronomy 22:5. He also hates polycotton blends. It is, listen to me now, hear me now. It is just as much a sin, according to Deuteronomy, a stonable offense, to wear golf pants as it is to be a cross-dresser, just for the record.
But with people determining their own sexual identities, it's not clothes.
Well, please feel free to interpret the Bible in a way, in contrast to the actual verses.
Or personal style that offends God, but rather the use of one's appearance to act out or take on a sexual identity different from the one biologically assigned by God at birth.
Okay, biologically assigned. Is there a checklist he goes through? Also, dressing in the, basically God's playing dolls in the sky. That's his argument. That this is clearly, guys, I want you to hear me. This is definitely about how God, when he makes you Zeus-like, like we're watching Clash of the Titans, makes a little clay version of you with your outfit, and then you wear some other outfit, and you're like, what the hell, bruh? By the way, Adam and Eve were wearing fig leaves, allegedly. Was there a dude fig leaf and a female fig leaf? Is that how all this shit started? I want you to know that this part of Deuteronomy is 100% to do with the real desires of God and has nothing to do with the fact that one of the tribal elders who wrote it had been suckered by a ladyboy and was mad about it. Went on a trip to a country where they were a little more loosey-goosey with their outfits, and he got a lot of ribbon on the boat ride back, and he just never lived it down.
In his wisdom, God intentionally made each individual uniquely either male or female.
Guilty as charged.
When men or women claim to be able to choose their own sexual identity,
They don't claim to choose their sexual identity. Transgender people believe that their biological sex is counter to their personal identity. They don't identify with the actual physical person of their body in a major way. Not like, I don't know, I feel like wearing pink, but everybody says blue.
They are making a statement that God did not know what he was doing when he created them.
So people that are born without limbs or with birth defects should never try to clap or dance. Is that what you're saying?
I'm going to
Why are we giving prosthetic limbs to people that God in his wisdom allowed to be born without a hand? I mean, isn't that what we're talking about? Aren't we talking about a birth defect effectively? Is that person less of a person? Is the argument that no one must modify their body once they leave the womb, because whatever you came in with, that's what you're stuck with. So no glasses. God in his infinite wisdom thought you should lose your eyesight at a certain age. I mean, how deep do you want to go with this bullshit?
I'm going to quote directly from Dr. Tony Evans' commentary Bible on this passage of Scripture.
Dr. Tony Evans' commentary Bible. So this dude reads a Bible with fucking training wheels.
Men and women equally share in bearing the image of God, but he has designed them to be distinct from and complementary toward one another.
So, why should I take that asshole seriously? I mean, there are ministers and priests who are open to and respectful of the broad biological diversity of the earth and know that God in his infiniteness cannot be compiled into two distinct bathroom placards.
The gender confusion that exists in our culture today is a clear rejection of God's good design.
Is it? Because, dude, you shave. You cut your hair. Technically speaking, 50-50, you and I'm actually more in line with what Deuteronomy says when it comes to hair than you are.
Whenever a nation's laws no longer reflect the standards of God, that nation is in rebellion against him and will inevitably bear the consequences.
Gentlemen.
Yeah, people are booing because he's a dick. By the way, this is proselytizing. This has nothing to do with the law. And as a matter of fact, this should be indicative of how the law itself, this behavior is exactly why you need a law like this.
Gentlemen will suspend. The House will be in order. Gentlemen may continue.
I'm going to read that line again.
Yeah, because we wouldn't want to miss
nation's
it.
laws no longer reflect the standards of God, that nation is in rebellion against him and will inevitably bear the consequences.
Yeah, the consequences would be that we are a secular society with respect for faith instead of an authoritarian version of a theocracy, which is, if you do have faith, is a mockery. Because making belief or alignment with biblical law mechanical takes the soul out of the human.
And I think we are seeing the consequences of rejecting God here in our country today.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me. Look how fucked up Texas is.
And this bill speaks directly against what is laid out in Scripture. Our government, through this bill, is going to redefine what a woman is and what a man is.
No, it won't. No, it won't. It'll broaden the definition for people who don't fit the normal definition.
It can be anyone who identifies in that gender at any time. You're going to single-handedly end women's sports and all of the gains for women's rights contain.
Excuse me. Deuteronomy says women should be subservient. Where in Deuteronomy does it say women get to play soccer? It doesn't. Kaboom. By the way, can I just, if you might, I knew that this guy was going to be citing Deuteronomy, so I did a little, I was like, I'm going to go, let me just grab something real quick. This is Deuteronomy 21. So Deuteronomy 22:5, which is what he's citing. there's a bunch of fun in here. But the one right before is good. This is my favorite. So according to this guy, this is how we should operate our country, okay? You guys love, who doesn't like true crime? Who loves true crime? Has anybody watched the Cecil Hotel? Anybody watched the Zodiac tapes or any of that stuff? Or the Hillside Stranglers stories and all that stuff? Love true crime, right? And so we know, a lot of us know, some people get the death penalty, and then sometimes the death penalty is rescinded because it becomes, outlawed and all that kind of stuff. It's great. Super great. It wouldn't be as, well, it depends on how you feel about livestock. It would be a little less fun as a show to watch if you followed strictly Deuteronomy 21. A part of Deuteronomy, by the way, that God said first, before he got all tied up in cross-dressing, the Lord has a plan for how to deal with an unsolved murder. Now, there is no addendum for what happens if you solve it later. The assumption is Columbo hasn't been born yet. There is no Jessica Fletcher. Sherlock is a fictional character. It's not going to happen. Quincy's not going to... It's just going to stay unsolved for thousands of years. Just count on it. I mean, it's not like we have Bethlehem CSI. It's all dust. All right, so atonement for an unsolved murder. If someone is found slain, lying in a field in the land the Lord your God has given you to possess, what if they're on a road or on a rooftop? How the fuck do you get up there? I don't know. Yeah! Okay, if he's found, lots of fields around, so we'll give him a break on that. Your elders and judges shall go out and measure the distance from the body to the neighboring towns. Okay? I don't know if they walk it out or if they're supposed to use it like rulers or they have a special town measurer. But yeah, so you got to, okay. Then the elders of the town nearest the body, so whoever's closest, they're going to walk it out. Whoever's closest shall take a heifer that has never been worked and has never worn a yoke. This is brand new right off the rack heifer. Never been worked and never worn a yoke. She did spend a couple of, frankly, salacious nights in the bin with Yusuf el-Khithlam, but, never worn a yoke, so, get off on a technicality. And lead it down to a valley that has not been plowed or planted, and where there is a flowing stream. It's really difficult. There's a lot of specifics. This is how you deal with an unsolved murder. You need a valley and a flowing stream and a valley that's never been plowed or planted, with an ox that's never been worked or yoked. The Levitical priest shall step forward. These are the specific guys. You don't have the Deuteronomy priests stepping forward. For the Lord your God has chosen them to minister and pronounce blessings in the name of the Lord and decide all cases of dispute and assault. Then all the elders of the town, nearest the body, shall wash their hands over the heifer, I forgot. Oh, there, I missed one part. And lead it down to a valley that has not been plowed or planted, and where there's a flowing stream. There in the valley they shall break the heifer's neck. I'm sorry? Look, if we keep finding dead bodies, you guys are going to lose some fucking cows, okay? So everybody knock off the murder. Yeah, they bring a fresh cow down to the flowing stream. As it's getting a drink of water, they break its neck. There is no application on how its neck is broken. Do they fucking just muscle it? What do you mean they break it? Obviously, they would say cleave upon it with a hammer or some shit. Just break its neck. Jebekiah, it's your turn to break the cow's neck. And that's how rodeo was born. Just fucking... Who killed Joseph, son of a bitch? All right. So, so they break the... You got to... Okay. Then all the elders of the town nearest the body shall wash their hands over the heifer whose neck was broken in the valley. Yeah, we know. It just happened. We haven't forgotten that part. And they shall declare, our hands did not shed this blood, nor did our eyes see it done. Accept this atonement for your people of Israel, whom you have redeemed, Lord, and do not hold your people guilty of the blood of an innocent person. Then the bloodshed will be atoned for. So you've heard of the scapegoat? This is the scape heifer. This is the little known scape heifer. Okay. And you will have purged from yourself the guilt of shedding innocent blood, since you have done what is right in the eyes of the Lord. Okay, how far do you think a bill that required all unsolved murders to have a cow's neck broken near a stream closest to the city, if there's any division between the two cities where it happened, closer to the city where it did happen? So basically, just in case you're not keeping score, if you ever want to ruin the next town's ability to farm, just kill people closer to their town than yours, and then conspire to keep it unsolved. And so basically, they'll be killing cows all the time, and these guys won't have any cows left, and you'll have all the cows because the body was 18 feet closer to their house. Thank you, Aggie. How utterly terrible. You guys, the puns are coming hard and fast. That's what Deuteronomy says about it. Now check this out. I don't know why this dude isn't bringing up marrying a captive woman. Why not bring up Deuteronomy 21:10? Huh? When you go to war against your enemies, and the Lord your God delivers them into your hands, and you take captives. This is, if you've just slaughtered everybody, that's, go to the second appendix. If you notice among the captives, a beautiful woman, and are attracted to her, you may take her as your wife. Bring her into your home, and have her shave her head, trim her nails. Yes. Because she's obviously scratchy. Trim her nails and put aside the clothes she was wearing when captured. After she has lived in your house and mourned her father and mother for a full month, because she's never going to see them again if you didn't just kill them in the siege. Because I guess the assumption is, I'm going to keep this one. Can you go kill her parents so no one else can? Then you may go to her and be her husband, and she shall be your wife. Ta-ba-da-da-da. She shall just be your wife. You don't need a priest. You don't need anything. You just take the bald woman whose nails you've cut, who's you set her clothes aside so she's naked for a month, I guess. If you are not pleased with her, there is a return policy. If you are not pleased with her, let her go wherever she wishes. Basically like, okay, yeah, go ahead. Let her go wherever she wishes. You must not sell her or treat her as a slave, meaning keep her and make her do work, because since you have dishonored her, since you have had sex with her. So you can't sell somebody you've had sex with. That's pimping, and you can't have the pimping. So it's a little caveat. You're like, oh, you can't treat her as a slave. I guess you could have her as a slave, just don't treat her as one. Keep calling her Carol. How about the right of the firstborn? How do you decide when you got two wives, what to do? If a man has two wives, and he loves one, but not the other, come and knock on our door. We'll be waiting for you. Unlike that asshole speech, my entire diatribe is filled with truth. And both bear him sons, but the firstborn is the son of the wife he does not love. Damn it! I mean, it's timing. Timing is everything, isn't it? When he wills his property to his sons, he must not give the rights of the firstborn to the son of the wife he loves in preference to his actual firstborn. Guys, we can't be doing this. Somebody's keeping track. That's your actual firstborn, the son of the wife he does not love. He must acknowledge the son of his unloved wife as the firstborn by giving him a double share of all he has for being unloved. That son is the first sign of his father's strength. The right of the firstborn belongs to him. You don't think this shit came as an argument later? This doesn't have anything to do with the dad. This has to do with some dude laying seed all over the valley that hadn't been plowed. And then the kids coming back going, hey, excuse me. Yeah, I hated your mom. That doesn't matter. You had a kid with her first. What do you do with a rebellious son? What did you do with a rebellious son? What? If someone has a stubborn and rebellious son, I feel seen. And he does not obey his father and mother and will not listen to them when they discipline him, his father and mother shall take hold of him and bring him to the elders at the gate of his town. If they don't have a gate, bring him around the loading dock. They shall say to the elders, this son of ours is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey us. He is a glutton and a drunkard. What if he's not a glutton and a drunkard, mate? What if he's just an asshole? I don't drink and I eat well. I just don't like these two assholes. They're the kind of people who would bring their own children to the elders to be killed. Then all of the men of his town are to stone him to death. You must purge the evil from among you. All Israel will hear of it and be afraid. Now, and then there's other various laws. There's a little extra addendum on the bottom of here, which I think you guys should know. And this is practical. In case you're like, I don't know, what do we do? A lot of times you're like, this is a technical, consult the book. If someone guilty of a capital offense is put to death and their body is exposed on a pole, you must not leave the body hanging on the pole overnight. People, it's gross. I'm having breakfast. What is that? Be sure to bury it that same day. Because anyone who is hung on a pole is under God's curse. You must not desecrate the land the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance with a bunch of dead bodies hanging on poles all over the place. I don't want to be downwind from that shit. This is a nice unplowed valley. So needless to say, it's not surprising that he hooks in on Deuteronomy 5. This is a big one. Let's see. It gets really kind of fortune cookie-like around this area. If you see your fellow Israelites' donkey or ox fallen on the road, do not ignore it. Help the owner get it to its feet. That's practical. And then, a woman must not wear men's clothing, nor a man wear women's clothing, for the Lord God detests anyone who does this. Okay. And then the next one is, if you come across a bird's nest beside the road. I'm sorry, this is not sacrilege, this is humor. You can see why Jesus had a New Testament. The old one needed some edits. If you come across a bird's nest beside the road, either in a tree or on the ground, and the mother is sitting on the young or on the eggs, do not take the mother with the young. You may take the young, but be sure to let the mother go so that it may go well with you and you may have a long life. Your lotto numbers are 8, 6, 57, 42, 9, and 16. And Kung Pao chicken is a traditional spice dish, but was invented in San Francisco. All right, that's what's on the other side of that Bible verse, just so you know. This one, I'm guessing, would fall under too many regulations. You know how Republicans hate regulations? Sorry, we'll get back to this asshole speech, but I'm having way too much fun. When you build a new house, many people are getting new houses right now, make a parapet around your roof so that you may not bring the guilt of bloodshed on your house if someone falls from the roof. Basically put a giant catcher around in case some asshole falls on your roof. That's because that's how they have all these unsolved murders. Yes, God is OSHA. Do not plant two kinds of seed in your vineyard. If you do, not only the crops you plant, but also the fruit of the vineyard will be defiled. Yes, that's just good practical advice. Do not plow with an ox and a donkey yoked together. Now, a lot of people think that is about farming. It is not. Do not wear clothes of wool and linen woven together. There you go. What do you think the chances that this dude mixes fabrics? Make tassels on the four corners of the cloak you wear. I mean, that's all. That's just good fashion sense. Who's making this list? Are they just all sitting around? All right, we'll end on marriage violations because I think this dude is married. The Florida man. If a man takes a wife after sleeping with her, dislikes her, and slanders her, and gives her a bad name saying, I married this woman, but when I approached her, I did not find proof of her virginity. This is the Yelp review portion of marriage laws. Then the young woman's father and mother shall bring to the town elders at the gate proof she was a virgin. What? The posters on her walls? Proof she was a virgin. Her father will say to the elders, I gave my daughter in marriage to this man, but he dislikes her. Now he has slandered and said, I did not find her to be a virgin, but here's the proof of my daughter's virginity. Then her parents shall display the cloth before the elders of the town. And the elders shall take the man and punish him. They will fine him 100 shekels of silver and give them to the young woman's father, because this man has given an Israelite virgin a bad name, which is one of my least favorite Bon Jovi songs. She shall continue to be his wife, and he must not divorce her for as long as he lives. Damn! However, if, the charge is true and no proof of the young woman's virginity can be found, she shall be brought to the door of her father's house, and there the men of the town shall stone her to death. She has done an outrageous thing in Israel by being promiscuous while still in her father's house. Yeah, don't do that in your father's house. You can be promiscuous. If your mom's got a cottage in the country, you must purge the evil from among you. Sorry. A young promiscuous woman, not in my presence will that person be described as an evil among us. If a man is found sleeping with another man's wife, excuse me 1 second, I got to pay attention. Both the man who slept with her and the woman must die. You must purge the evil from it. Oh. Wait a minute. If the United States is not supposed... Trump, how many wives has Trump had? What about Newt Gingrich? Should I bring this... Arms for next leper. Okay. You get the point.
It's contained in Title IX that was passed in this body since 1972.
Yeah, I'm totally convinced Republicans now give a shit about Title IX.
Single-handedly destroying women's sports in the name of equality. How ironic.
Yeah, because 0.5% of the population, 0.05% of the population who are transgender will join the 0.02% of people who enter athletics either on a college or high school or competitive level. And that's the majority. So most people transition. Literally, for there to be one transgender person on every college team, all of the transgender people that have been alive over the last 50 years would all have to pick a team and start immediately.
How ironic. If biological men can compete in women's sports, then it's no longer women's sports at all. We might as well just have one sports team per event, and women, transgender men, transgender men can all compete against each other. How is that for equality? If biological differences didn't matter, we would never have created and funded separate teams for men and women. We know science supports the idea that there are performance differences between biological men and women in competitive sports. And it's just common sense to the vast majority of Americans. just not common sense to this Democratic majority.
Yeah, that's why we have testosterone rules in the Olympics that have actually excluded biological women because their testosterone was too high.
In Connecticut, 3 high school female track runners have had to
Do I think he's circumcised? I'd bet on it.
file a lawsuit because their Title IX protections were violated by biological male athletes competing against them. They had no choice but to file suit after they were forced to compete against biological male athletes. And after those biological male athletes brought home 15 women's state championship titles. I could stand
But enough about
up
Russia.
here and give you example after example of this happening throughout our country in all sports categories, but I don't have near the time. If you want to protect women's sports, then vote against this bill. I yield back.
That's going to be the fallback, by the way. And instead of going, we need protections put into this bill that protect women's sports from straight heterosexual men who pose as women simply for the trophies, which I guess is the concern. Because this sounds like heterophobia to me. Right? It's not about real transgender people who really want to go into sports. The idea is that men are like, well, I couldn't win a trophy competing against other dudes, so women are small. That argument, which is, again, him slandering the good name of heterosexual males.
Yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Gentleman from Ohio. Reserves. Gentleman from New York.
Yeah, Nadler's going to take a big dump on it. By the way, I just wanted to address the biblical aspect of this nonsense. Couple of things. All right. CPAC is going on right now. And look who's one of the sponsors at Right Side. What a shock.
I have over 100 products that you're going to save up to 66% using.
Yeah, and now you wonder, Mike, why? Wow, that was really loud, too.
Using the promo code.
What's the promo code? RSBN? Yeah, because you fund the entire network?
RSBN, right?
Yeah, that's Right Side Broadcasting Network. Right. Yeah, we get it. By the way, they're still running footage of Trump getting off the... I mean, we'll go on with that because they actually still think that he's president. So, no. Okay, so first, this is short. So I want to do the short stuff first. Apparently, Roseanne is taking a page out of 107's book and doing cryptic, just show your feet videos about a Q rebirth. Oh boy.
And right side.
Hold on. I got to click on the right. Sorry. Well, that's your left foot.
God spoke to me last night.
Oh boy. There's a lot of that going around.
And in my dream. And besides telling me
To put on pants.
he is very, well, his exact words were, I'm mad as hell.
His exact words were, no person with a tattoo shall be buried in a cemetery sacred under my name. That kind of thing.
Roseanne, I'm not going to take it anymore. You tell the people. They think I don't see what they are doing, but I do see it.
Really? God's speaking through Roseanne now. Roseanne, that's insanity. God doesn't need any help from you. Honestly. Plagues, floods, earthquakes, the potential for a catastrophic asteroid aside, and the ability for God to just heal the earth with only his followers afterwards, all that aside, why does God need you to go and tell everybody on his behalf that he's pissed? Whatever happened to signs and wonders? And by the way, there's a lot of this shit. I went into a deep dive into the prophet world, and I'll show you some of it coming up. And it's friggin' scary. These people still believe Trump is president. They think God has ordained this. They were selling this horse shit all after the election, and then all of a sudden, When he loses, they're like, no, I wasn't wrong. It's just he really is president on another plane of existence, you know? It's nuts.
And I can't let it stand, and it won't stand.
Well, then it'll fall on its own. It doesn't need any help from you.
Because it's pure filthery and fuckery, and I won't have it.
So God said it's filthery and fuckery. Okay. Hey, you know.
I said, yes, Lord.
Well, yeah, you don't, I mean, obviously he was pissed. The Lord doesn't often say filthery and fuckery unless he's really miffed. You can't hear it? It's very low? Sorry.
I'll let the people know that you said
Hold on, let me see if yeah, that's as loud as it gets. She's kind of whispering in her phone, I apologize.
that. And, so I have. Talking about Purim in my next video.
Okay. Excellent.
Right side broadcast.
Hold on. Yeah, so that's what we're that's some scary shit. No, I think she just woke up and recorded that, and I don't know why she was shooting her feet. She may have thought the camera was the other direction. That's entirely possible. I'm glad that God obviously doesn't mind me swearing, which is a good sign. If he's using phrases like filthery and fuckery, then clearly my occasional F-bomb isn't going to make him angry. That's a good sign. I think of all the signs we've gotten today, that's kind of the best one. Damn. What new filthery and fuckery is this? My son joked, that's my God. That's right. It's hard to choose the next thing. So I'm jumping past this ad. So this is Right Side's booth at CPAC. Let's drop in, shall we?
With family, get myself together, and kind of processing where we are now with...
You're in a convention center with a big plastic banner behind you. And it looks like an ironing board over your shoulder.
Everything that took place with the election, and...
You mean Trump losing? You mean you being on the wrong side?
Right back at it, you know, still in the fight. So I'm excited to be back, as ever.
Yeah, totally still in the fight. Trump is still in the fight. And if by fight you mean hiding in his golf club apartment.
And I think our first time together was on the boat tour. And where were we? I think in Virginia, was it?
Yeah, we were.
Oh, it's fascinating. It's so the boaters for Trump. It was fabulous. I don't care. Can we jump ahead? There has to be more. Did this just ramble on? Okay, no, they're going. These are the crowd that walk with Trump at all the events. Let's go.
Person to watch. I highly recommend you tune in Sunday. I think there will be some pretty big things happening.
Of course, I was telling Mike earlier that
Mike, not doing much for your case where you're being sued for pimping your pillows and selling the big lie at the same time, and that you're making money off this. I'm just saying, this is kind of...
Sunday is really going to be a historic day in the sense that...
Yeah, in the sense that it happens every week.
This will be the first time that the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, is going to be making a public appearance and giving a speech. Now, of course...
I'm sorry, what? What's Sunday? What's exciting about this Sunday?
A historic day in the sense...
It'll be a historic day because...
that this will be the first time that the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, is going to be making a public appearance and giving a speech. Now...
Huh. That's super weird. So up until this point, Trump has never given a speech. What he means is the former president, but he can't say former president because they won't allow it, and they still view him as, if he says former, the chat room they have will attack him, so he has to say 45th president, and then, of course,
now, of course, Right Side Broadcasting Network covered the President's Day event down in West Palm Beach. Mike, myself, and Brian Glenn were down there.
Covered it. You were it.
And you saw President Trump drive by in the motorcade as he was leaving golf, seeing all those nice, beautiful flat...
As he was leaving golf, he's turned his back on golf. Golf didn't save Tiger's right leg in that early morning crash. What have you done for me lately, golf?
Flags waving that said Trump and the American flag. But this
Yeah, I know you guys brought them.
will be the first time since leaving office that he's going to be making public remarks in front of an audience. And I kind of wonder to myself, what is he gonna say? But more importantly,
I'm pretty sure he's going to bitch about the election and say he really won and it was stolen and we've only just begun, and basically just like the statements that they've released from his office is basically he's going to read them in a row.
more importantly, what song is he going to walk off to? Like, you know, is he going to go like old school campaign? Like, we're not going to take it? Who knows? Like,
no,
I can't really say, but that is something I'm certainly going to look.
That is really the thing, though. I mean, I think a lot of us, you know, some of us are going, will he take responsibility for his part in the insurrection and the killing of police officers at the Capitol? But everybody else is like, YMCA or not.
Looking forward to, you know, add a little fun to the, you know.
Yeah, it's great.
To the entire event. Actually, let's make this fun. Go ahead and drop in the comments what you think President Trump's going to walk off to. I mean, could it be YMCA? Who knows what it's going to be? But
it's probably going to be YMCA, and it'll open with Lee Greenwood because he's an unoriginal maniac. I don't see in the chat room here that they've. Does anybody put it in there? No, I don't see any. RSBN rocks. God bless you all. God bless America. No, they don't have a.
But that's something I'm certainly excited about. And, of course, I want to hear what he has to say. I think I have an idea, but we can never be too sure with President Trump.
Now you
you can kind of be sure.
have me thinking. I know I need to be in, like, interview mode and, like, host mode, but in my brain I'm like, well, what song is it going to be? We know if it's YMCA, you'll be dancing.
Yep.
But we also...
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you never leave interview and host mode, do you? And by the way, I'm sorry about that frame. It doesn't look at all like you're being interviewed on Girls Gone Wild regrets.
I want to say thank you to My Pillow. My Pillow has been an incredible part.
Jesus Christ. How much are they going to... All right, fine. All right, you want to do that then? You want to go there? We can go there.
By the blood of
Lord of Jesus.
Oh, Lord. Lord, Lord, free. I'm free. Freedom, Lord, Lord.
Can't do it, boom. I can't.
And if you...
Sorry, I was expecting a lot more. I was not expecting a real estate couple to selling me toothpaste from their home office.
Haven't seen it, you can see it on our network. And
I've seen it. I've seen it.
And you're going to see that this is really, really a powerful thing that he has done, and he took it on by...
No, it isn't. No, it really isn't.
By himself. And
yeah, that doesn't make it better. Like, guys, what's the movie like? Well, he did it by himself, so you know, for considering
he's worked through this, and we just want to help promote him, and we want to interview him today and ask him
to sell My Pillows on our CGM network. I'm guessing
questions and find out as much as we can about what he's doing and what we can expect.
Yes, it's definitely, this guy is a Brent Terhune character.
Expect in the future. And so this is my wife, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa. How are you? It's good. I like the coordinated blue.
With you today, as you can see, we're not in our usual studio. We're coming to you from our office, but we're excited to be with you.
And we're very...
Yeah, I think it's great. You got an old, one of your old Bluetooth mics in the back next to a walking stick with an eagle on it. You know, you guys are ready to go. You got a big hope poster that's cover, let me guess, one of your books or one of your events? Something like that? I don't know.
We're very excited to have Mike with us today. So,
bless you, Mike. Yeah, he's a really hard get.
Mike, you want to greet the people?
Hello, everybody. It's good to be here. God bless you all.
It's good to be anywhere.
Hey, so cancel culture is really just trying to take you out, it looks like. You know, with Twitter, I think.
Dude, he's trying to cancel the election. What do you mean cancel?
They dropped
culture?
You and
no, here I'll kind of take everybody back.
What was that edit? I didn't do that.
I've had this happen to me 3 other times,
Oh, okay. I've never had. Well, this has happened to me 3 other times.
Nothing to this magnitude, but the first time was, I was an ex-crack addict. I was an ex-addict. God set me free on.
Wait, you were an ex-crack addict? Oh, so you're back to doing crack.
January 16, 2009. And I didn't know anything about politics. I didn't even think they affected me.
Yeah, so nothing's changed.
Okay. Well, in the summer of 2016, Donald Trump reached out to me in a private meeting. And
because he kept seeing your ads all the time on Fox, and he figured you were rich because he knows how much commercials cost.
And I flew to New York, met him in Trump Tower, and
we've all heard this story before. It's adorable. He liked me. He thought of me as a millionaire. He thought I'd support his campaign. I'm on TV a lot.
It was just him and I, and he talked about, Mike, I'm going to, bring the jobs back to U.S. He asked me about my pillow being, made in the USA, and we talked about. I said, I'm going to have this addiction platform called LindellRecovery.org. It's going to help millions. And he said, I'll stop the drugs pouring in, and it was just amazing back and forth.
Yeah, the drugs still continued to pour in.
Conversation, and I went back.
Opioid deaths spiked last year.
Back to Minnesota after that and did a press release. Now, I was the media's darling, and this time.
Yeah, you guys remember that, right? Remember when Mike was on Dancing with the Stars and he just wowed us all? You know what I mean? I was shocked that he won The Voice and then went straight to Dancing with the Stars. And then he was at every movie opening. He was, every new Marvel film. He was on the red carpet. It was just overwhelming. He was the media's darling.
This time it was different. I said, I met Donald Trump, and all of a sudden I was called a racist. All these bots and trolls, I thought they were real people, just attacked.
Terrible. He was attacked by robots.
Me. And I'm going, wow, I must be the worst person on the planet, right?
Well, no. No, the argument is that Trump is kind of, and that you were sucking up to him.
Right. Well, I found out that we survived that. I went all in, and we survived that huge attack.
Yeah, that's what addicts do.
Back in the fall of 16. Then last spring, it happened again, where I spoke from the Rose Garden. If anybody's seen that, I spoke.
Oh, this is, by the way, this is him pushing this myth. We watched this yesterday where he was floating this idea that the cancel culture hit him because he was being, he cited the Bible at this moment. Not that he cited it next to a man with 27 credible sexual assault cases, one including a 13-year-old girl who was friends with Jeffrey Epstein and wished Ghislaine Maxwell well, and the only press conference where he was asked a question about it, he went, I hope she's good. I mean, her boyfriend died in jail, so, I hope she's all right. That you're standing next to that guy and you're like, this guy and are like, we're like biblical like this.
Spoke out I said we need to spend time getting in the Word, spending time in our Bibles and our families, and I was attacked then. That was an attack that went worldwide. That was, there were so many good people.
Sorry, it went worldwide? I'm sorry, how many Democrats are there in the Middle East and in China and Russia, I suppose? What?
That stuck up for me back then. Well, then this summer,
nobody attacked him over it. Again, citation.
Had another thing. A guy brought me this cure to the virus, this myoleander.com, and he brought me this, that it would help. He said it was a cure.
He said it was a cure. Okay, so this guy, dude, what more? I mean, this guy brought me this website, said, hey, I got this website, and it cures COVID.
I checked. I did my due diligence. I use it to this day. But boy, I went on CNN. It was a 24-minute attack, and the bots and trolls came out, and they tried to cancel me out then. That was the first taste I got of complete cancel culture, right?
Because you went on CNN during an interview about your support of Donald Trump, and you promoted an untested plant remedy pushed by a guy you ran into who said it cures it. So yeah, I guess it does. So why not go on CNN and bring it up and go, you got to go to this website and push people that direction. Let me guess. Did you have a promo code at the bottom of myoleander.com? Did you, Mike?
They went after.
Was he a business partner of yours?
My companies, and the bots and trolls said, if you do business with him, we're not going to do business with you. And now I'll bring you up to date here. On November 4th, we all woke up and
It wasn't, by the way, it wasn't people. It was bots and trolls. So I don't know why he's mad at Democrats.
we, went to bed and said, Donald Trump is won. You wake up and you see.
Wait, you went to bed? You went to bed. You went to at 10 o'clock at night. You went to bed. Okay.
All these deviations. And I look at deviations every day. I have 5,000 stations I'm on, and I look at.
Let me guess. You're getting a bunch of sales from a cable network that you have a lot of ads on, and it happens again and again and again. And you're doing great. And so you spread out across all the Comcast channels. You're peppered across them. And then you notice the sales drop off. And so you go look at Fox and you look at Newsmax and you look at Discovery or wherever else you've got your ads. And they're still listed there. But someone is stealing pillows and not giving you the money for it. And then you discover that the cable system goes down, and it had nothing to do with whether or not sales were good or bad on any of those individual channels, or that Fox or Discovery or any other channel was better than the other, just that simply the network had failed. And so you looked at the network having failed and went, I think I should move my sales to Animal Planet and ABC based on the numbers that I'm seeing. Are you that dumb? Are you that stupid, Mike? Do you not factor in the overarching reality?
I look, if one station does way more than it should, I find out why. You got to have a different input to get a different output, right?
No, you don't. You do not. You don't have to have a different input, especially with commercials. All your commercials are the same. That's a source issue. That's not, okay. Like, that's just dumb.
Yes, sir.
Well,
no, sir. No. If you take the same commercial and you put it on a bunch of different channels, it's the output of the channel and the audience that does it, not your input. He doesn't do his ads for, like, on TBN. He's wearing a cowboy hat and he's got each village person clothing for different networks. You think he does? When you had ads on MSNBC, and he did for a while, what'd you do? Dress as Antifa?
Happened then. So from November 4th on, I went down. That's been my whole focus, is that's election fraud. And I went down anything that had any chance to.
Anything that confirmed your bias about the reality.
I thought I gave him money.
It couldn't be that I am a sucker and completely stupid. It has to be that the entire world is upside down.
The tech keep going or whatever. I've got millions of dollars of my own money and then plus my own investigation.
Yes. So let me guess. People were selling you information as you sought this out. You were hiring people, and these people that you were hiring to find this shit, Mike, were going, yeah, oh, no, we got good stuff. It's coming. I'm going to need to grease these people, though, a little bit. Because this kind of, we're attacking the deep state. I'm going to need at least $3 or $4 million. You got it, right? I mean, does America matter to you or not, Mike?
I went county by county and did my own math and said this is impossible.
It isn't impossible. You're an idiot. It's impossible if there's no pandemic and you're running the numbers from the primary of a year where there was no pandemic and comparing them to a general election during a primary. But this is the kind of guy who thinks that all of his commercials are magically different because he puts them on different channels.
But here's where everything changed. On January 9th, I got a piece of evidence that I had.
January 9th. You got a piece of evidence.
Never seen anything like it. It was from the election, like inside.
You never seen an Excel sheet?
Inside the machines. This is a cyber footprint of exactly if you took your computer and turned back time shows the IP address of the attacking country that came in, shows
Oh, look at that. Nicely done. Thanks for buying that. I don't know if, was that loud? I think I turned the alert box down, but that was cool. Nice. Somebody got the jack?
the address of the computer, whether it was over here, whether it was let in.
Yeah, we know it's on the goddamn piece of paper they sold you for $1 million. Do you, honest to God, Rudy bought that the $3 million Hunter Biden laptop for $5 million, brought it back. It was such bullshit. They had to scuttle their first story and then take it to some dude who's like, I'm a blind computer repairman. I'm Kwai Chang Cain's master fixing this. Good God.
In or broke the firewall. So I had this piece of evidence, and I went to the people that.
Yeah, by the way, good point. So Rexmo says, I use my HAL Sparks pillow daily. That's very nice. I think I do actually have some pillows in the Teespring, don't I? Aren't there some? And made a long time ago?
That I got it from, or that showed it to me. And I go, this is it. This is it. I did my own due diligence, checked out the IP addresses and stuff. Once I knew it was real.
It wasn't. You didn't check out the IP addresses. You didn't, Mike. The IP addresses they gave you say Huawei.
I tried to get it to the president. I went publicly with it.
Yeah, so you went to the president with it. It's absolute proof. And what did the president and his lawyers say to you?
And as soon as I went public with this, it was an attack every day, and from my Twitter being taken down.
Well, you weren't attacked. You were criticized. And you tried to use other people to sell your lie. I got no problem with this, and I've said this a bunch of times. I have no problem with this asshole making his dumb little movie and putting it on his website and giving it out for free or even fucking selling it. I don't care. It's his website. If it's, Holocaust denial or some shit like that, then the people who hold who host his website very well may have issues with hosting said material. But in general, this is just this is a sap explaining to the world how gullible he is. And he can do that on his own time, that's fine. But Twitter, Facebook, all these social media sites have no responsibility to carry this shit around in a bag for him. None.
Down. My company's Twitter being taken down. They attacked.
No, they didn't. They didn't take down your company's Twitter. You turned your company's Twitter into a personal Twitter account, which violates the terms of service. If you'd have just left it the fuck alone and left up, use promo code QAnon, they would have left it up.
They attacked box stores around the country.
They didn't attack box stores. I don't know if there was no coordinated boycott. These companies just went, screw this dude. After the 6th, everybody's like, anybody who's still all in on this is a problem.
Lost 20 box stores now, 20 retailers. And I tell them these bots and trolls aren't real, but they just drop me anyway. This is after relation.
Yeah. They're also, Mike, they have the sales numbers, right? You know those numbers you look at for your ads and say, hey, I sold a bunch. And they also notice that they're not selling a bunch of those things because people are like, oh, hey, there's that asshole who helped get that cop killed.
Relationships for 5 or 6 years. 20 of them dropped within a
Wait, which is it? 5 or 6?
week. And I want to tell everybody, they're as bad as the people that are doing the cancel culture because they know this time is different. So these stores that did that, horrific. Shame on you what they did, okay?
Why? Honest to God. What right do you have to insist that any of these companies carry your shit for you? There are hundreds of products in Bed Bath & Beyond and all these big box stores. Hundreds, thousands in some cases. And you're so special, they have a responsibility to carry your shit. You get first dibs on a big box store when people are voting with their dollars or the companies themselves decide, even if they were selling a lot of them, those companies still have the right to go, you know what? We'll take a financial hit because fuck this guy. That's freedom of expression. That's freedom of speech. That's Bed Bath & Beyond going, dude, that's beyond us.
Then I want to bring everybody up to speed here. all the media, I give them my phone numbers, the New York Times, CNN, USA Today, Washington Post. I give all the bad media, good media, everybody's got my direct phone number. I was so courteous to them, took all their calls every day leading up to February 5th. They would mock me on late night talk show hosts, Jimmy Kimmel, Saturday Night Live, just mocking me. Mike's got evidence and mocking the evidence, right?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, they did it beforehand because they knew you were a clown. I actually did the grunt work because I work for a fucking living, Mike. So I went through it beat by beat.
Well, I told them all, wait till February 5th. Wait till February 5th. I'm going to show.
Is that what you did? They didn't know. They were calling you about the thing you were going to release on February.
The world. And we did this. We put this together. I wanted to put all the proof in one documentary, right? So we did this at a secret location.
A secret location? That's new. What do you mean? Why would you do it? Who gives a shit where you shot it? What are you talking about? Call him, HAL, have him on the show. We have questions. That's a great idea. I don't know if I don't have guests that often, so I'll give it a shot. I'll reach out.
And I put out the word. Well, then on February 5th at 9 a.m., we launched it to the world. Since that time, not one outlet has called me to either say, hey, Mike, it should be the biggest news in the world, this evidence. Nobody called. They don't write. They do nothing.
Mike, they saw it. That's why they're not calling. It's a waste of their time. It's ridiculous. There's a point where if you had any absolute proof or any of it checked out, they'd be like, oh shit, look, 80% of what you're talking about is complete crap. But this little part we're curious about. None of it works out, Mike. The biggest case, for those of you that didn't watch my entire takedown, it exists. Go like and subscribe to the page. Thanks, hi. The first third of it, he has this guy on who's from Texas, who's a cybersecurity expert. Same asshole sold him the software that you saw demoed in the end that's supposed to be the absolute proof. This is the guy who's been essentially like the same group of people anyways, who've been like grifting this asshole the entire time. He makes the case that the worst voter fraud in the country is happening in Texas. He took it to Homeland Security, took it to Austin, to the government there. They were like, go away, we don't care, we don't believe you. And in that same segment, Mike goes, and these are the Dominion machines, right? And the guy goes, Dominion? No, they use ES&S and Hart machines. It's terrible. And the votes go to Spain and come back. And he's like, yeah, but the Dominion, no. Trump won most of the districts that use Dominion machines. ES&S, like the guy, literally, his documentary makes a better case that Beto O'Rourke actually won Texas, and that Biden won.
They do nothing until I was sued by Dominion. Then they all called yesterday or the day before. But I wanted
yeah, because they want to comment about the lawsuit. Because a $1.3 billion lawsuit is news.
Tell everybody, because of all of you out there, this has been seen by 110 million people.
Wow. It's almost like you paid for the views, Mike. It's almost like you're a savvy businessman and you know full well that, yeah.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Yes.
Yeah, but no one's convinced by it. And some people are watching it twice because they're idiots.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We understand that cancel culture is also, attacking others that are supporting you. I just heard from WND that said that they posted a video in support of you, and actually
WorldNet Daily?
YouTube now has begun to take them down and attack them for being in support.
Don't tell me, they better not be scrubbing Bat Boy's family reunion.
Support of you. And
Right.
so we're seeing, as Christians and as patriots, censorship on a level we've never experienced before in this.
That's because as Christians, there was never a problem until you started fomenting an insurrection posing as Christians.
Country. What would you say to Christians? We're hearing some Christian leaders saying, Trump has lost, Biden's won.
Yeah, Trump has lost, Biden's won. I wouldn't consider myself a Christian leader, but
get over it, move on. What do you say we should do as Christians?
Trust in God, give unto Caesar what is Caesar's, love thy neighbor as thyself, and stop being assholes?
Well, I'll tell you what, any Christian leader that's saying that he's very misconstrued on what's happening in our times right now.
What? Any Christian leader who says that?
This has been an attack by communism on our country. These are end times things, everybody. This is it. These machines are rigged. They brought them in Venezuela in 2002. That's where they brought in. This has been a control.
You guys know I've cited the Bible. There's a lot of shit in Revelations. None of it is about, a communist attack that comes via Venezuela. I mean, that's a big
plan for
this is like Nostradamus, dude.
For decades, okay? Since then, they brought it into Venezuela. Smartmatic was the first one brought in. They took Venezuela in 2 years. Now, all these other countries out there right now, I've had world leaders call me. I can't say who they are.
Why not? Why can't you say who they are? World leaders? Leaders of the actual countries, or just rich assholes like you in other countries?
Of big countries going, you're our only hope right now.
Not big countries, then. I'm just saying, incorporated islands off of the Caymans, maybe. No big leader of a big country is calling Mike Pillow and saying, you're our only hope. There's no situation where Erdogan is Princess Leiaing. Help me, Mike Pillow. You're my only hope. Help me, Mike Pillow. You're my only hope. There's one set for stun.
Because they have the machines there too. They brought them in.
Well, then why don't they get other machines? They're not ubiquitous in the United States. They're a minority machine. They're not even in the vast majority of places.
I'll tell you, right now, Biden didn't win. Donald Trump won 80 million to 67 million. And
yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah. Then I can't imagine why CNN isn't calling you.
And anybody out there that says, oh, I'm just going to get complacent and better luck in 2022 or 2024, it's over. We're in a race against time here, you guys.
Yeah, you already lost the race against time part, dude.
They're destroying our country right now. These executive orders, that wasn't even Democrats that are out there. You talk politics. The Democrats are out there. I have 2,500 employees and maybe 500 are Democrats. I've talked to them. They go, we didn't vote for this, what's going on. Nobody did. No Democratic Party would come in and cut the pipeline, all these union jobs on the first day.
Yeah, they would. He ran on it. He won the Democratic primary, and he was not alone in that promise. What the fuck are you talking about? What big union jobs? There's 35 permanent jobs by the Keystone Pipeline. It's Canadian shale oil, so they can get it to market by piping it over our aquifers and through Indian land. What the hell are you talking about?
Nobody would go out there and cancel out. Here would be normal. Like Dominion.
Well, yeah, tell us what normal is, Mike.
And Smartmatic in this, when you put up this evidence, this was machine evidence, you guys. This wasn't.
Yeah, it's machine evidence. This was machined in a machine shop.
When they started putting up machine evidence, YouTube canceled me. Vimeo, okay. Wikipedia
canceled by Vimeo. Ouch.
Wikipedia took my Wikipedia. They put up a fake Mike Lindell.
Wait, sorry. That I have to check. Hold on. Hang on a second. There's a fake Mike Lindell Wikipedia page? Wikipedia. Or maybe, just saying maybe. Hold on. Mike Lindell. Do you think maybe he just misspelled his own name? There you go. Okay, so just so you guys know, just so keeping the facts, this is the fake Mike Lindell. This is not the Mike Lindell we were just looking at. This guy doesn't look anything like him. That's not his mustache. Look at the way his teeth lean into his teeth are all going backwards. This is clearly a poor computerized version of things. Born 1961, citation needed. No shit. Is an American businessman. And and CEO of MyPillow for however long, a company founded in 2009. He's a prominent supporter of and advisor to former U.S. President Donald Trump. We know that's false. He's promoted the plant extract oleandrin as a COVID-19 cure and supported attempts to overturn the 2020 United States presidential election. So far, I don't even know where they even get this stuff. He's from Minnesota. What are you talking about? There you go. MyPillow. Mike Lindell invented the MyPillow in 2004 and grew the business into a major Minnesota manufacturing company. Look at that. In 2017, the Better Business Bureau, this is during the Trump administration they did this, revoked the accreditation of MyPillow, lowering its rating to an F based on a pattern of complaints by consumers. They cited a buy one, get one offer that came as a continuous offer, right? Because you don't buy one, get one free if it's always the price of 2 fucking pillows, right? That was the point. Therefore, it was the normal price of the product, not a sale price or a free offer. So you're just suckering people. Let's see. Political activities, promotion of unproven. In White House meetings with Trump and public appearances, plant extract oleandrin is a cure for COVID-19, saying, this thing works. It's the miracle of all time. In a television appearance, Mike Lindell made a misleading statement about the testing of the substance. Has a financial stake in Phoenix Biotechnology, a company that makes oleandrin and sits on its board. So what were you really canceled, Mike, for this? I mean, Attempts to overturn the 2020 personal life. Let's see. Lindell's been married twice. Whoa, wait a second. That's a violation of biblical law. Ended divorce after unless he let her go wherever she wanted to. Did he capture? He got his first wife when he captured a city. His children from that marriage. He married Dallas Yoakum in June 2013. Filed for divorce in mid-July 2013. What? After she left him. Lindell stated they had a prenuptial agreement. To what? Leave him in a month? He married Dallas Yoakum in June 2013. And filed for divorce in mid-July 2013 after she left him. Man, dumped by Yoakum. In January 2020, the Daily Mail alleged a 9-month relationship with Jane Krakowski. Right, it was all okay. Lindell is an evangelical Christian, citation needed, and received an honorary doctor of business from Liberty University. 2019, gee. He self-published a book that year about his religious journey titled, What Are the Odds from Crack Addict to CEO? Technically speaking, again, let's see. During the 80s and 90s, he was addicted to cocaine, crack cocaine, alcohol, leading to the foreclosure of his house and his wife filing for divorce. Lindell stated that he achieved sobriety through prayer in 2009 and has been clean since then. He's been clean since 2009. So he was on crack when he started MyPillow and has made it, okay. Just so we're clear. All right.
Twitter was acting like they were me, and it wasn't even me. They're Jack Dorsey. Okay, this is an attack. All the major media people.
This is where supposedly Twitter was publishing things on his timeline from Germany, and this is also the part where I explained to you that Mike, through his company, had someone doing auto posting for his deals, and it was automated, and it was on a schedule. And it still posted those things in spite of the fact that he'd been shut out of his own personal attachment to. So whatever accredit like window he had to post those things, still managed because it was coming from Germany to slip through and post stuff like promo code QAnon while he was kicked off of being able to use his own phone.
People that are behind this, the Soros group. This is a major.
Look at that. We got a big. I wasn't expecting a Super Jew drop. Soros knew it. Yep. Okay.
Attack. This is it. They are going to come, starting with, I just got a word from Israel today. In Israel, they're making everybody take this vaccine
Vaccine. Please don't take my man.
You won't be able to go to movie theaters. You won't be able to do anything. This is Mark of the Beast stuff, everybody. This is over. This started in Spain where they did this.
So I see. So anybody who's been vaccinated has the mark of the beast now. And what happens to the person who has the mark of the beast, according to you, Mike Lindell. These people who are apparently under the perception that, like the 105-year-old woman who just survived it after she'd had she got her second shot of vaccine and then tested positive and kicked it, didn't even get sick. She's a devout Christian. She after she got her both shots, she went back to leading prayer groups at her elder care facility. Does she now have the mark of the? What is the mark of the? All right, I don't know. Yes, anybody who got the polio vaccine, same thing.
Did this vaccine? They have a world list that they're going to put you on if you don't take it. This is
and if you're on the list, you have the mark of the beast, and then what? You get invited to all the cool parties.
All tied together. This China virus, so to speak. This was planned too. I mean, you guys, and I'm not just a conspiracy theory.
No, you're not just a conspiracy theory. You're also a member. Theorist. Yes, you are.
Dug down and found all these things. And
you dug down and found that getting the vaccine in Israel is the mark of the beast.
Tell you what.
What?
Everyone right now, I'm going to tell you the two miracles of the election. And then
it was okay. This is, I mean, dude, it's in the video.
The third miracle's coming. You want to hear it? Every single person out there, whether you're Christian or not, needs to listen to what I'm telling.
Okay, I'm listening. And by the way, since you're not Christian, I'll take it that you mean that phrase.
The book that I have is called "What Are the Odds?" I look at
if you're Christian or not. Here's my book. Buy it.
Mathematics to say, you know, we have a 1 in a million happen, or a 1 in a billion, or you have something that is absolutely impossible. When do you add them together and consider it a miracle? Okay.
When something's a 1 in a million chance, a 1 in a billion chance, or impossible, you add those together and admit it's a miracle. And what would that miracle be, Mike?
Okay, that's how I always do. Like, does God exist? You know, when you get your question on that. Well, I'm telling you, here's the miracles of the election.
Yeah, it beats having a personal relationship with a deep spiritual feeling about your existence and faith in a supreme being. That's a lot of work. Better to just do the math.
On 11/15 on election night, the machine,
the algorithms exploded. Right.
Donald Trump broke the algorithms of the machines.
How did he do that? With a golf club?
What happened was they have to do a prediction with these formula and these machine, the weighted race feature that's on them. You have to predict how many votes you think. You got to be within a couple million votes. Well,
you gotta
misjudged Donald Trump, and all these votes came in, and he would have won anyway in spite of the steal. Okay. In spite of the steal. Well, everyone, then in the middle of the night, they had to stop all the states at the exact same time.
That's...
Now when they...
Okay, they're just showing the ad. All states, all the states, not even all the swing states, not any of the swing states, stopped all at the same time on election night. I mean, like... I understand the exaggerated claim where they take a couple of places that were done counting the day of votes and started counting the absentee votes, which is a different process. So there was like a half hour of turnover, or places that had rules because of the Republican legislatures that you can't start counting until after midnight. So at 11:15, 11:30, they'd already counted all the shit that was done that day in those districts, and they had to sit there twiddling their fucking thumbs because the Republicans wanted to give the illusion that Trump had won on election day and not start counting absentee or mail-in votes until technically the next day. So they had to wait till midnight. So they did. So there's these pauses where everybody's just like, want some pizza? Cool. And again, yes, Lee Dabble in the chat saying time difference. That doesn't even factor in the time difference. Yes, God always works through algorithms.
When they stop them all,
they didn't stop them all, but please continue.
They had to react. So if they would have predicted right, we'd all...
Who's they? The Chinese or the black volunteers in Fulton County?
All went to bed at 3 a.m. like a normal election. All this...
At 3 a.m., I was awake. Steve Kornacki was like, look at this. They had already called Arizona for Biden by then.
States would have been in, done counting, and Biden would have won. We would have said, better luck next time. And if anyone, you got to see the miracle of that we would, we would have been done for the rest.
Maybe what you think is a miracle is actually the fact that you can't process that this election happened during a pandemic and people were largely voting by mail in one party, and the other party was not only insisting on voting in person because it's a plandemic and myoleanderbullshit.com, not only because of that, but because Trump had told them to vote twice.
For the rest of eternity, because the machines would have never been found out, and this attack by China and communism and all these coming in. Now I want to tell you, in the middle of the night,
I'm still with you. Yeah, you didn't lose me at all.
And with all these algorithms, so we woke up in the morning going, "What? How do 100,000 votes come into Michigan and stuff?" Okay.
How did 100,000 votes come into Michigan and stuff? You mean in the 5-hour period from when they started counting again at 5:30 in the morning till noon?
And all these anomalies. Well,
they weren't anomalies. They were not anomalies. You thinking you're going to win and then losing is not an anomaly.
What everyone says, well, that was
anomaly. Anomaly. I can't. Muppets.
Mail-in voting. Does everybody realize out there that the mail-in voting, those were counted first on the morning of November 3rd?
No, they weren't. No, they were not. Where did you even get that shit? Nowhere did that happen. When is it? I mean, honestly, like, he makes shit up, but this is, usually it's within the grounds of like, well, he read something and he's dumb and he bought it. That's just bullshit. As a matter of fact, the mail-in voting was not allowed to be started on Election Day because Republicans were passing laws to make sure they didn't start until midnight or the next day.
A third. They were the first things counted. So
no, they weren't.
These things, they had no votes to do that, everybody. They stopped Arizona. Took 1 week to count Arizona, the last 1%. They scrambled in all these places to try and, make this a landslide victory. The other.
But by the way, this is brand new bullshit. This isn't, this is him just talking out of his ass because the other stuff isn't actually convincing. So this part.
Right. Well, anyway, so that's the first miracle. So people started in.
By the way, you do realize that you're allowed to, as long as your vote is postmarked on Election Day, your vote still counts. So all mail-in votes, nobody runs out of mail-in votes on Election Day, especially by volume.
Investigating this like
that's never true.
Here's the second miracle, and this is really important that everybody understands.
It's not. You can't spell algorithm either. Yeah.
I've even talked to the president.
Well, I don't think he did this. I think this is the folks that are the show he's on
about this. All the stuff that the Republicans, the legislatures, nobody did their job. We found out where the compromised people were. We found out where the people that had their own self-serving agendas. But if
those assholes, am I right?
Any of them would have done their job. You just take the dead people, the people that couldn't vote,
that all voted for Trump.
Non-residents. I put it in my video.
Right. Yeah, I've watched it. Yeah. You mean all the extra Trump votes that should be knocked off of his total? Sure.
Absolutely. If you take that down and they do their job on this,
then Trump loses by even more.
December 14th. If they do their job, Donald Trump's our president. Of course,
he still wins.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, he doesn't. No. You're operating under the premise that all the election fraud benefits Trump or benefits Biden and harms Trump, when legitimately the people who've been caught doing it, all of them with I'm going to go 90-10. I don't know if I'm leaving room that there might be a case I haven't heard of where a Biden voter tried to vote twice.
He still wins. But if that happens, what happens then? Then we never know about the machines. And you know what? They will never misjudge that again. It's over.
So it was a miracle that he lost so we would know how bad voting is in the country. Because if he'd have just won, we would have thought it was fine.
they would have took, just like they did in 18 and took all the Democrats, they took them too by machines. Okay. So now.
Oh, so Democrats didn't win in 2018. That wasn't an actual turnout election or anything.
If this goes on, and now on January 9th, when
I can't imagine why CNN isn't calling this guy every day.
Because I became like a hub of a wheel of everybody bringing me information because
you had money in your gullible
big mouth. I'm out there and I'm going, out there and everyone's going,
I'll pay. You're out there and you will pay for this information, Mike. That's the word that got out. This guy's dumb and rich and is looking for confirmation bias. If you can bring him something that confirms what he believes in his head, he will pay through the nose for it. Or, well, I guess through the pipe.
This to Mike Lindell, get this to him. So I get this information. I'm discerning every day. You hear dates like November 3rd, December 14th.
Yeah, I did hear dates like that. November 3rd. There was something went on November 3rd. I don't remember what it was. Oh, yeah, they counted all the mail-in votes.
January 6th.
Oh, yeah. Yeehaw, that's right.
January 20th. Well, this was on January 9th I got this. Let me tell you, everybody, something. There is no statute of limitations on the biggest crime against humanity that you could ever imagine. The whole world is watching this. Okay? What's
the crime part? Who are we arresting? These and all the oh, there you go. That works. And in prison 45 mode.
Yeah, everything we're doing now, the plan we're doing, which will be coming out, and I'm not just holding this evidence and not going to do anything with.
No, you're going to play with it. I mean, you can't just hold it. You got to tug on it a little, right, Mike?
I am under attack. Dominion suing me. I wanted them to sue me. Everybody, I wanted them to. They haven't served me yet. They better serve me, because if they don't, then it just sits there. It's just a big I'm trying to scare Mike. By them serving me now, I can put all.
Please have a dude walk in and hand him papers in the middle of this.
All the evidence and send it back, and everybody in the public gets to see the evidence. And on that movie
yeah. So there's Turkey, Signet. There's a static IP address for internet service. That's real. DED Hetzner Online. Oh, that was the one in Switzerland. There's a Russian one. Beijing Baidu Netcom Science and Technology. Yeah, it wasn't Shinra and Sunrise Technology Company. Okay, because the Chinese don't know how to use a VPN. However, I would say that if I were, say, Donald Trump's friends, and I knew people like Mike Flynn and that lot, and Betsy DeVos, and she was friends with the guys at what they would do is they would know how to attempt, at least, whether they were successful or not is another story, attempt to attack the election on behalf of Donald Trump, giving him extra votes, trying to raise his numbers because they were pathetically low, and I would bounce them through IP addresses in countries that I know people are suspect of. So I would use a VPN to make it look like it was going through a server in Beijing,
Movie you're watching.
But I mean, if you're part of the Chinese Communist Party, you're probably just so full of yourself that you just order people to use their own computers to just attack the United States.
Those numbers were deciphered numbers that come off of the spyware. So
it's deciphered numbers that come off of the spyware, Missile Command.
Stuff that backs up everything in that tape. When I say absolute proof, I'm 100%. Or if I was 99.9, do you think I'd risk everything I had in the world?
No.
Yes, I do. You are running this on insanity. This is not based on. You do not understand what you've been presented with, Mike, and the people around you know what a sucker you are.
No.
Absolutely not. I'm risking it all. This is for our country. This is for humanity. So if you're a Christian,
yeah, they wouldn't go to someone who didn't think that and try to sucker them. If you were logical about it, like every other business person on your strata, you'd go, "Nah, I've looked at the numbers. It's bullshit."
Out there, you're a pastor, and you're going, "Oh, get over it." Are you kidding me? Are you saying get over your future? You know, all you need to pray for out there is that God will give us grace one more time to.
Yeah, just God, if you could, give us grace one more time. Say grace at dinner? Okay, that's all I got back. It blesses your food. Apparently it raises the vibration of the food you're consuming. It's better for your body vessel. Something like that.
Give us grace, and everybody praying, give us that grace. So we.
And by grace, we mean install Donald Trump, the habitual pussy grabber, back in the White House so he can keep kicking Mexican kids across the border.
We can bring people to Jesus in these end times, and have the greatest revival.
In what end times? First of all, okay, no man shall know the hour nor the day, not even the Son, only the Father shall know. Matthew 25, I forget the verse. 6? Something like that. That's just off the top of my head. Nobody knows when the end times are. Anybody claiming to know when the end times are is a fraud, is a charlatan, is a false prophet. You're warned about false prophets in the Bible. People who say, I know when shit's going south. I know when it's ending. And anybody who goes, this is the end times, is full of shit and is selling something.
This revival in history.
Yes.
We are at a point in history where we are part of the greatest time probably ever in history.
Yeah. Screw when Jesus walked the earth.
I'm so happy that we're even a part of it. Everybody should go.
You seem happy.
Wow, this is great, because you know what? We're the people that caught this. We're the people. Donald Trump was put in for such a time as this.
Yeah. He was the perfect guy for right now.
Put in. And I told him, one of the biggest things is his great things he did, and all the things he did gave
like ignoring the fucking pandemic and saying there's basically 12 cases. I've talked to China. They're being completely transparent. We're going to sign this deal or whatever. And then in the middle of it, after we lost 180,000 Americans, he sells them the biggest order of corn, soybeans, and beef in the history of the United States. That's stuff that would have made Chamberlain wouldn't have sold goods to the Nazis if he. And this is a time when both Mike and Rudy Giuliani and Trump all believed that COVID was a biological warfare attack.
Gave enough people to vote, so they misjudged those algorithms. That's a miracle. That is a miracle.
No, it isn't. It's either God is working in algorithmical voting machine miracles on a very limited. Why didn't he attack the ES&S machines if they're more permeate to show us that we can't trust things? Why was it just the black cities that you and Rudy were trying to kick the votes out of people's hands?
That they misjudged that. They won't make that mistake again. Right now, the biggest thing they have now is cancel all of us out. So this stuff is.
So you can't sell oleander and get a bunch of people killed in Florida?
Coming up, all this evidence, and it's not just what I have. It's coming up. I could sit here and tell you, which, by the way, I have LindellTV.com. I'm putting information up there, and every 3 days.
Yeah, it's great.
Is a video, and I'm going to keep.
Every 3 days? Oh, joy. Please make them shorter so that I can do other shit.
Pouring information in there. I have a short version of Absolute Proof. It's 26 minutes. It's just the evidence. So,
yeah, basically admitting that he believes the end part is the evidence and the rest of it is all bullshit.
People can watch that so many people watched 2/3 of it and said, "Oh,"
and said, "This is a bunch of crap."
I seen it, and I said, "Did you watch the last third?" Well, no. Well, that's where all the.
That's where the evidence is.
Yeah, that's right. Because that's what you do in an emergency. Like when you call 911, what you want to do is start chit-chatting about the house you're in. Hi, 911. What's your emergency? This is the kind of house where stuff happens. And earlier tonight we were having dinner, and I'm gonna introduce you to somebody I was having dinner with or whatever. Sir, what's your emergency? I'll get to it at the end. Just stick with me.
Yes.
Is it possible we could get a copy of that to put on our network as well?
Yeah, it's possible. You could download it yourself like I did.
Yeah, absolutely. The half hour. If you go to LindellTV.com, you can download your own version there. And if you guys have problems, just
Boy, can you?
call me direct.
Now, technically speaking, it is the mark of the beast, though. If you download Mike Lindell, since he's a false prophet and he is obviously violating God's law with his adulation of Donald Trump and his making graven images and the like. It is, if you do download it to your hard drive, you are downloading Satan into your hard drive. I mean, it's up to you. I'm just saying.
Call me directly, and I'll have my IT send it out, because there's a downloadable version there. Believe right for you. And by the way, if anybody wants DVDs, they're on there too. They're free.
You got a lot of them.
You just pay the shipping.
Yeah, they're free. You just pay the shipping and handling. Where have we seen that scam before?
I just want to tell everyone, this is not something where you can just, go to church and pray and then, the rest of the week, whatever. You've got
Yeah, you can't just have faith and pray and trust God. What kind of bullshit is that? What kind of an asshole goes to church and prays and then goes back to their life completely enveloped in the faith that God has a greater plan for the betterment of all people? What kind of a dickhead would believe this?
Everybody's got to keep involved and keep listen to what's going on out there. And if you're a pastor, I want to tell everybody else.
Yeah, tell pastors what to do, Mike. Tell pastors, people who have studied the Bible as their livelihood and their living. They've devoted their lives to the teaching of the Lord. Please tell them what to do.
Everybody out there that's going, everybody just kept telling the president, give up, get over it, 2024. That's a swear word in my idea, 2024. We're 2020.
It's a number.
20. This is where we're at. And the president knows this too. This is our real president. I'm sorry, our real president. I have never even looked. I didn't watch the inauguration. I have never seen one thing in the news. That's not what's going on. I'm telling you what's going on.
So, and you think that actually helps you make your point, that you ignore reality. You won't even watch what Biden is doing or listen to what he's doing and weigh that against your preconceived notions of the man. Doesn't seem very biblical, I'm just saying. Doesn't seem very Christian. You know the man is a Catholic. You know the man goes to church every Sunday. Yeah, I mean, you can believe that, that he's, a baby-eating, skin-wearing monster or whatever. But you do have to act, if you can absorb that information. One would argue, know thy enemy. Maybe pay attention just to keep. I mean, I watched all of Trump shit. All right, this is seriously.
What's going on now, though, that's scary. I hear things, they put.
Oh, you hear things? Really? From the same people that are selling you this bullshit?
Defense up. They're sorting our military, taking out Christians and people that back the president, and you start sorting that.
They're sorting Christians? No, they're not. White supremacists. They're going after white supremacists in the military. Why are I guess the big question is, Mike Lindell, why do you think why there's no daylight between Christians and white supremacists?
That this is scary stuff, everybody.
Yes, it's scary, but it's also funny.
This is very scary. If you're a Democrat out there, this isn't what.
I'm definitely a Democrat, and I'm definitely out there. I feel seen.
And they're seeing themselves. This isn't what you voted for, because you.
Yes, it is. It's precisely what I voted for. Actually, I'm very impressed. It's exactly. It is almost note for note what Biden ran on so far, and he's only 36 days in. Dude, in 36 days, it's really impressive. I mean, people are acting like he's been in for a year and are tapping their foot. And they're like, when are you going to get to more of the cool shit I want?
Because you didn't get to vote. You didn't get to vote. China was 60% of that vote came hack jobs out of China. 60% in that.
But I voted for Biden and he won.
In that video, and they
Uh-huh.
this is sad. You know, you've got, and they did down tickets too. So all this is going to be revealed, and there is everyone's
Sure.
saying, "Well, Mike, what do we do now? What do we do now?"
Yeah, Mike, that's what everybody's doing, because that's who I call.
There is stuff coming, and it's coming.
Yeah, any day now. Totally. Any day now.
I want everybody to be patient, keep the faith.
Yeah, just be patient, keep the faith. I mean, don't go to church like an asshole and expect God to have a plan, but be patient. Wait for me to pump out information and promo codes on my website. Go to lindell.tv, download my video, absorb it into your head, hate your government, view everything around you as the end times, prepare for, I guess, Satan to take over the Jesus Christ.
That's why I did the video too, is because
that's why
people were getting complacent, going, well, I'm over here in South Dakota, it doesn't affect me, or I'm in, I haven't even went back to Minnesota. One of the biggest sacrifices, if anyone's out there, for me, they're going, wow, you've made this sacrifice, and my sacrifice.
What sacrifice? You got promo ads running all over RSBN and Newsmax and OAN nonstop. You basically own 2 networks now.
Can't go see my grandkids or my niece and nephews since the beginning of January when this happened, because quite frankly, I don't know who's out there and what they're going to do to try.
What are you talking? Wait a minute. You're avoiding your grandchildren because you have delusions that people are going to assassinate you? Mike, nobody gives a fuck. Go see your grandkids. But try not to spit COVID all over them or oleander juice into their eyes.
To try, because they have done everything to keep me quiet.
Yeah, but they're not. Nobody's going to assassinate you. Talk about delusions of grandeur.
Done everything to cancel me out. Everyone, look at this.
No, they haven't done everything to cancel you out. You're on another show of 20 that we've seen on Rumble.
Dominion sues me, right? So,
yes,
which I wanted them to do.
Well, I'm glad they obliged, because I want them to as well.
How shameful is they sued my pillow too. This is
right, because you always address I'm Mike Lindell, CEO of My Pillow. If you'd have just left your own goddamn company out of it, you wouldn't have actually ruined the financial future of everyone who works there. But you took over the web account, you took over the Twitter account, you got that shut down. You always address it, and you align all of your money-making schemes with the selling of this bullshit idea.
This is a company that employs 2,500 people.
Yeah, and you can't just go, I'm Mike Lindell. I'm not speaking on behalf of My Pillow right now. That's a company. There's a lot of employees. A lot of people work there. This is just my own personal belief. Don't hold it against them. Do you ever do that, Mike? No, you don't. You always name stamp your company and you. They're inseparable. Why the fuck do you think I call you Mike Pillow?
Most of them have, or a lot of them have stock. So it's stock owned by the employees, and they've done nothing. And they put out lies. They put, Mike Lindell put QAnon or My Pillow put QAnon for promo codes. No, we didn't. What they did, they put it in. You can put any promo code on My Pillow, but they won't work. But you can take a screenshot that you typed it in. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
So they did it. They did this.
Who did?
And put that out there and trying to
so you scrubbed it,
attack My Pillow, and how shameful. Dominion is.
You let OAN and those guys choose their own promo codes. You let them put in 3 of them. They did one of those because they knew the.
It's enough that you committed these crimes or were part of, involved in these crimes against the world or the United States and humanity. But then you attack an individual USA company. It's just shameful. It's just.
They're not attacking the individual USA company. You have a financial stake both in that company that you exploit and in myoleander.com, and you were trying to sell snake oil at the same time you were using money from My Pillow to wrap buses for Donald John Trump as a unpaid campaign, basically his campaign finance fraud.
It's disgusting.
You were mentioning a minute ago that there were 3 miracles that took place, and you
you left one out.
Talked about the first one and the overwhelming, and so I wanted to bring you back so we can get to 2 and 3.
Can you get to what the second one is? I am not. Do we have some snacks?
So no, I said the third one's coming. The first one was actually there is three. There's a mini one.
Mini miracles.
So the first one was that they broke the algorithms the night of the election.
Sure. Yeah.
The second one is nobody did anything about the normal fraud that you would have overturned every one of them states. You know.
Yeah, that's a miracle. Nobody did anything about any of them states.
You go, you can't, these dead people can't vote.
Right.
And they just go, oh yeah, they can. And then by the way, too, everybody out there, part of that miracle, everyone says, Mike, this evidence has been looked at. No, it hasn't. The evidence.
Yes, it has. I did.
Has never been looked at. And besides that, there's only two places evidence was looked at, and both of those cases are still open. Antrim County and Massachusetts, where there was a primary. Otherwise, no judge looked at. They were afraid to be the first judge. They were
afraid.
They got suppressed. They got, it's going on in Arizona right now, a fight to get in and look at these machines in
that Republicans are stopping.
Maricopa County. Okay.
I'm sorry. That was Paul Insnacks. It totally was.
So the second miracle is that. The third miracle is that.
Okay, the first miracle, God's miracles are getting weird. I mean, I started with everybody's hungry. I only have 2 fish and 1 loaf of bread. Don't worry, I'll make sandwiches. Boom, everybody's fed. That's pretty good. Walking on water, that was a nice touch. I thought that was kind of good. Dying on the cross and then rising from the grave and ascending into heaven. That's pretty heavy duty. And we've degraded all the way down to 20% of Dominion machines I'll fuck up those to make them look like to a very narrow group of people that something flaky is going on, even though there isn't. And then I'll make a bunch of deluded assholes think that the world should revolve around their complaints or concerns or fake accusations about an election. That's 2 miracles. By the way, the third one is when you become a saint. So
is that of all the people in all the world, that these people that have this evidence, that they had this running from November 1st to November 5th, who would have thought you had basically a running camera to show all the crime being committed, and that they saved this, and these guys are afraid for their lives.
Why are they afraid for their lives? And by the way, he's talking about the CSV we saw that they uploaded into their demo software and sold to him. Why would they be afraid for their lives? What? Like the Soros Illuminati is going to shoot them? Mike Pillow can't go to Minneapolis and go visit his grandkids? Because who? Who the fuck's going to kill Michael? Really? This is Alex Jones level shit. Alex Jones has been talking about how the deep state and the Illuminati and the Pentaverate are gonna murder him for years. You know what's gonna murder him? His blood pressure.
3 or 4 of them they bring this to me. That they bring it to me.
Yeah, it's weird. Their lives are in danger. They're like the guys who created a car that runs on water. They're afraid to even step outside. Black helicopters are everywhere. What do we do to save ourselves? I know. The dude from My Pillow is hanging around. Maybe we go chit chat with him and and squeeze $1 million out of him.
Bring it to me, and that I have the voice to be able to not be suppressed. You guys.
You're the single most ridiculous source they could find. Seriously, they couldn't have found a former Ronald McDonald clown actor who refuses to appear in public without the stuff. How about the naked cowboy? How much lower could they fucking go?
You guys, the divine appointments there are just incredible. It's staggering,
Thank you, Liz.
It's like when the guy brought me that last summer, that Oleander. What are the odds this guy brings me?
What are the odds? He brings you something and you buy a stake in it, and then you go on CNN, and then you try to sell it, and people know you have a stake in it, and they know they're being used like you drop promo codes for something.
That works on this, that we could have had this whole country cleared out and everybody is safe, but that got attacked by Big Pharma, FDA, all the, that was a whole nother story.
Trump was running the FDA. What are you talking about?
But that's a miracle. The fourth.
It's a miracle that Yes, it's a miracle that people didn't all across the country start taking oleander and thinking they were safe from COVID.
Miracle is coming when everybody sees the fourth miracle, whatever that is. Well, Mike.
Yeah, whatever it is. I have a couple of ideas myself.
Will Donald Trump be our president? I don't know what God has planned, but I do know this. All this that happened has to mean something, okay?
Right.
Yeah, it means you're an asshole.
And it doesn't mean that we all just, you see this hope and then it's just squashed. I think what God's doing, he's showing everybody, even people over here on the left, this isn't about 80 million people that I think, this is about hundreds of millions of people, billions of people around the world are all watching this.
And going, I can't believe Trump isn't president anymore. How could God allow this to happen? Really? You think there's a billion fucking people thinking that thought?
If we let this happen in our country, if this goes down, it's over. It's over. People can look this up. Over in the Philippines, they tried to get rid of these machines there. It's everywhere. This is the takeover. And you can look up, I could really get into the owners of these things are tied into Soros.
Do it. Get into it.
Soros and evil and Satan. And it just goes this web.
Yeah, go into the owners. Bring that up in court, by the way. The owners of these machines and evil and Soros and Satan.
Is just bizarre. I want to say one more thing.
One?
When I look at logic, I want everybody.
When did that start?
Everybody out there to think of if like Dominion right now, you think of if somebody accused me, if you guys accused me of rocks and bolts in my pillows, you said Mike Lindell's got nails and rocks in his pillows, and you're out there telling everybody, right? What do you think I'm going to do? I'm not going to sue you. The first thing I'm going to do is go, hey, look at my pillows right here at my factory. I'll open them up for you. Mike's lying. They're lying about the nuts and bolts. Why didn't Dominion do that? It's so.
Hi, Mike. Pillow stuffing is not a proprietary thing. A better analogy might be that somebody says there's frog cum as part of the 7 spices in Kentucky Fried Chicken. The 7 herbs and spices in Kentucky Fried Chicken. One of them is frog cum. Now, since the recipe for Kentucky Fried Chicken is proprietary in the industry and they don't want to give it out to anybody, and because they will lose their market share and open themselves up to competitors stealing from them, they just sue you to prove your frog cum argument. And unless you have some documents about where the frog cum came from, presumably from frogs, but the process, and how it got into the chicken, and how biting into it, you knew it tasted like frog cum, and you're willing to say that in court, then they just, you're going to get screwed. You see? Does anybody? How about you have a special memory foam that's special? It's different than everybody else's memory foam, whatever you make it out of. Obviously something Jesus-y. And somebody says it's actually toxic. There are 3 cancer-causing chemicals in the process that make it. Show us your whole factory, how it's made, and everything that's in it.
That is so simple. Why can't you just open up and show the whole country that there was no fraud, that there was no.
Why can't you just show the Russians and the Chinese and all the countries the actual coding of our voting machines?
Nothing wrong with these machines. Instead, now, what do you do now if you're out there and I won't show you there's nuts and bolts in my pillow and everybody out there is getting hurt by it, and you guys are, what any American would go, hey, I'm going to keep telling people that Mike Lindell has nuts and bolts in his pillows, right? And that's what I'm doing. And I'm not.
It's a great analogy, Mike. I'm going to go with Mike Lindell is a post-op transsexual who has had, not a transvestite, not a transgender person, a transsexual. He is smooth in the front. He's actually a Ken doll. It's not even trans. He's just a Ken doll. He has no genitalia. Mike, I'm going to tell everyone you have no genitalia, and I'm going to get a bunch of other people to say you have no genitalia, and then I'm going to produce digitized proof that other people have given me of pictures of you smooth in the front. Now, you can go on national television and show everybody your penis. Why won't you do that, Mike? Why won't you?
And I'm not giving in because I've got the Dominion evidence. I've got the machine. And not 99%, 100%.
Thank you, Sherry.
And you know,
no, you don't have a machine. You don't even know where the source code is. Even the cyber attacks that he has, those don't go straight to Dominion machines. Those are different districts. But the IP addresses aren't. He hasn't even presented, and we've watched it. Did he present anywhere that this IP address is actually to an Ethernet port that had a Dominion machine hooked up to it in this office? Once. Has he said that once in any of it? You and I watched the long form and the short form and the follow-up. Has there been a single moment, Mike, where you have all of this stuff? No, you showed us a bunch of the Missile Command demo of the software and the details they programmed into it to show you what you wanted to see. Not a single fucking time.
And you
Not
know what?
Once.
People can go.
Why not? You could show us once. It's like 30,000 dead people voted. Show me one. Why was Rudy Giuliani talking about anything else in any of these things? Why didn't he go before the Pennsylvania, legislature and go, here's an obituary. Here's the voting record of this person. Here's the person. They just walked in. This guy's the one. He voted. He says that this person's dead. This is their vote. If there were 10 of them, it would be a huge news story. If you have that information, sit there and present it. Don't just point to a 10,322 on a screen and go, yeah, take my word for it.
People can go back. They've tried to discredit me. They went back.
You have no credit.
In time, all the way to my kids in my grade school to try and find stuff on me. This has been crazy. But you know what?
Why would they have to go back that far when it's in your book?
My book, What Are the Odds from Crack Addict to CEO? Look it up in the book. You know.
Yeah, sell the book. That's a good idea. You're going to go after Lindell Publishing too?
I mean, they can't find anything because.
No, you're going to put the book up over half her face? That's biblical though. And lo, the woman's face shall be covered halfway by Mike Lindell. This guy's dream of actually being. Babe, can you dress up in the Mike Lindell outfit tonight?
I've already told the world I can't help my past. I can't help my past. God forgave me. I surrendered to Jesus Christ. And you know what? That's gone. Those days are gone forever. Okay. But they're here for one reason. That story and that is helping so many millions of addicts on LindellRecoveryNetwork.org. It's helping people get to Jesus, but it's also helping here that they can't attack me because God, I'm just a vessel what God's doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, granted, to all my Christian brothers and sisters out there who are aware of this, everyone is a vessel for God, whether they want to be or not.
My pillow is a platform for
Thank
God.
You, Laura.
That's it. For my evangelistic platform.
Well, then why are you even talking about the things of man? Why do you even bother yourself with elections? Why can you not speak in the most abstract? Why do you have to dig into this bullshit? Why do you need material proof that Satan exists even then? Why are you looking around for it? And why are you sucking up to someone like Donald Trump? If your primary focus for My Pillow is the teachings of Jesus, then why align yourself with a man like Donald John Trump?
Platform for everything I'm doing it for him. And
yeah, I love that Bryan Adams song.
Whether politics are involved or where this is involved, I'm taking the right path. I use a Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean on to your own understanding. In all ways acknowledge him, and he will guide your path. I can be proactive in prayer now. People out there too, I want to say
proactive in prayer. That means make up your own answers.
I'll be a little preacher now. People.
Yeah, do that. They love that. It's their job. But
say to me,
why don't you assholes sew a pillow while he's talking?
All the time they go, Mike, I prayed, my prayers didn't get answered. I said, you know what? I had that all my life. I would pray, I'd get in a fix or whatever. Go, God, please get me out of this. Please get me out. And most of the times he would. But there's certain things I prayed for that didn't come true. Well, I tell people that might not be God's will. So where is God's will? God's will is in the Word. So if you stay in the Word, your
good.
prayers will match up more with God's will.
So God's will was that Biden get elected and Trump fuck off to Florida and face a court for his financial crimes. So why are you running interference for God's will?
Okay. And I'm telling you all out there, you pastors and Christians and non-Christians, if you want to know where we're going, get in prayer, get in God's Word, and you keep praying and you don't sit back this time. Nobody can sit back. There will be.
Why can't you sit back? Why trust in the Lord? Why wouldn't you trust in the Lord? Why do you not trust the Lord and His works?
Plans coming out, and if God's put me here to lead that way, I'm all in. Because
maybe He hasn't. Maybe He's teaching you a lesson in humility. Maybe this is the Lord humbling you, Mike. Do you ever think of that? That you walk this path so you can be confronted with the deep humility that you do not know that you don't know what you don't know?
Because for me, nothing matters. They can attack my company. My employees know we're very blessed. They've been through this. None of them have concerns. They're all there. Their jobs are secure. People have stepped up and bought direct from My Pillow.
Right, we know you've found a cash cow and you're chasing it.
We have 110 products. I'll be a little salesy now. I'll throw it out on your show. You want to help out my employees? Use the promo code Mike. I'll give you the best code. You can save up to 66%.
66. There's no 666%? Really? You went 66%. And again, I'm not, and by the way, Mike, I'm not letting him sell this shit. We'll jump ahead. I'm not doing an ad for you. Jesus Christ, man.
This is in there. It's awesome. It'll get you to Jesus. And then the other thing is, if for this fight, I'm putting right now, the money to me, what good is, I told the guy the other day, Dominion suing you for $1.2 billion. Money doesn't mean anything right now. If we don't save our country, money, you just will go out and buy silver and gold and for the end times and go start prepping, because that's where we're at. If we don't stop this now, and I'm just saying that everybody can pray for discernment and wisdom.
Oh my God! Now you want to pray for discernment
for the leaders that are out there that are leading this fight, and that's that's a big thing. And I will say that
yeah, I gotta say that victim dollar must be friggin' sweet.
Everybody's got to get this out of your head.
Guys, if you guys don't like and subscribe right now, the devil's gonna win. So please support us, Patreon. Because we're gonna get shut down. Oh God.
This isn't about Democrat or Republican.
Yeah, it is.
It's not anymore. This is about evil and good and evil.
Right.
Evil and good and evil. Okay, so we're surrounded. Yes, okay, so I view myself as good, and I believe what you are doing is evil. I don't know if in your heart you're evil. You just seem like a sap. But if you're a vessel for the works of the Lord in the way that everything can be or is, then clearly you are the villain that teaches us to fortify our windows.
We are being attacked. We all know we were in spiritual warfare huge in 2015 going into the election in 16. And
what? And then what? You surrendered? Like, well, we could put somebody like Jeb Bush in or something who's kind of aligned with our values a little bit, but screw him. Let's the dude with the trophy wife who grabs women by the vagina.
Like I said from the White House or from the Rose Garden, God gave us grace on November 8, 2016. And I could sit here and tell you the miracles that happened during that election from what I've learned now. I got goosebumps of the stuff that I know now. Everybody's prayers were answered at 7:30 on election night in 16. This was not planned for Donald Trump to win, believe me. This was God did that.
So God didn't do this though.
And him getting in there, and now what if you got to look at it. Part of the whole reason him being in there maybe was for these miracles that happened during this election. Everybody think of this as one of the best things in history that happened.
I do. That Trump lost and was a one-term, twice impeached president. Yeah, I think it's great. I also think it's great that he's the titular head of the Republican Party now, because you guys can follow that rotten fish all the way down the drain.
That they got caught during these, and we're going to get it out there. It's going to get out there.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome, Mike. And I mean, let me just tell you, it's the care. It's the care you put into this. I mean, you really dotted every I and crossed every cross. You cleaned up around the corners. You didn't have any sloppy edits. You created a movie that's engaging. It doesn't drag like this conversation, for example. It's not boring, repetitive, full of easy, low-level mistakes. You didn't pad it with a bunch of assholes who've been disproven or proven to be liars directly. I mean, the absolute proof is one of the finest cinema experiences of my life.
Get out there and something's going to change, and I don't know what the outcome. I do know this, and everybody, when we get through this, whatever that is, whatever that footprint is.
You mean the Biden administration?
And however long that takes. Okay.
Yeah, 4 to 8 years. Okay.
3 months, a year, I don't know. But when we do get through it, the outcome will be the biggest uniting of people in history.
Yes. Trump's gonna go to jail more than likely for financial crimes, and everybody will go back to enjoying sports and having normal lives, and we'll kind of reset to the country that we had before the divisions that were caused by the Republicans under Obama and the absolute cult-like following of Donald Trump. We'll put that in the past, and as a country, we'll try and come together.
And it'll be the biggest uniting and the biggest revival in history, because everybody will see it as what God did, not what man did.
Right.
Because it takes a miracle.
Why? How? It's going to take months or maybe even a year or so, and Trump will be inserted on the throne.
Right now, we're in a war against evil, and it's going to take a miracle besides the people God's using.
Amen. I like that you're saying that. Patrick Kolbick, as you know, you had on the Absolute Proof. For the reviewers, he's a former senator. He tweeted yesterday, I love his tweet. It said, the best way to fight #election fraud is, I'm reading it, via complete transparency. And they know this. That is why they censor those such as myself who provide substantive, irrefutable evidence of election fraud. Light versus darkness, be the light. And that's what you're saying. This is absolute light versus darkness. This is good versus evil. It's not.
Thanks. So according to these folks, I am evil because I don't buy Mike's bullshit.
Not a party against a party.
I'm a Democrat, and you're not doing this just to save democracy. This is because Trump lost.
And let me just encourage you.
It's not.
Yeah. And the only reason they're saying this isn't Democrat versus Republican is because all the other Republicans were like, yeah, this is fucking nuts. They're like, oh my God, turncoats.
Let me just encourage you with a word from the Old Testament, which the Lord dropped in my spirit, and that is, cry aloud and spare not. There is a time when we absolutely have to voice come against evil in a very vocal way, and I'm really excited about what you're doing.
Yeah, that's really good when we need to get back to stoning women for witchcraft.
And we really are glad that you allowed us this time, and we can go on as long as you want to. Yeah.
But we do need to. I mean,
I run the network, so I can run.
Right. Well, I'm here. I'm here. I mean, it's like right now, just so everybody knows, the mainstream media, they don't have me on to talk. They've tried everything. That's your Foxes, your CNN. It don't matter what the outlet is. It's all the next level down. We all have to, is communicate.
Wait, because again, why does this asshole think he deserves to be on CNN?
And God's used me. I can promise you this. My mouth ain't stopping. Okay.
Well, yeah, it's certainly not long enough for your head to engage.
I look back at other things, I don't know if, back in the spring of 16, I had very serious thing with my vocal cords.
Glory days.
It was a precancer, all these things. And I had to have 4 surgeries where they didn't think I'd ever be able to talk again. That was the devil trying to steal my voice for now. And if you read my book, in my book, the whole thing of my book is the wounds having from childhood. When my parents divorced when I was 7 years old, I was put into a school when divorces were not common. So I believe addictions come from childhood, from fatherlessness, for things like this, and a trauma. Well, I either was very shy, or I would show off, and then I wouldn't talk to strangers. Even when I had my bar, if a guy came in that had never, and I was the only one with, if someone came in, a stranger, and I wasn't high or drunk, couldn't talk to him. I'd say, hey, let me know if you need anything. I'd be over in the corner going, please leave, please leave. Well, what I'm getting at, the point I'm getting at is, when I finally realized when I wrote my book, took 7 years.
That other people matter? No, I'm silly. That's ridiculous.
And it's I had a fear of rejection. You can't get rejection if you don't talk. If you don't talk to people, you can't get rejected. These were the devil's lies inside of me. And people take drugs and alcohol and any addictions to mask pain.
Yes.
And they need, that's part of my Lindell Recovery Network is you replace that with Jesus. You need that foundation. You need your heart.
Yeah. It's just a gap in yourself. You don't have to recognize that you're whole already and complete as a human being. You just have a Jesus hole in you.
Restored. It was all these lies. You're not good enough.
Yeah, he had a bar.
You're not this, and all these lies. And if you'd have told me back then that all of a sudden I would be the voice as my calling, we all have callings. I want everybody out there to pray for your calling. God, show your calling. Because
I way ahead of you. Because
we're all called for this time.
Yeah.
We're all called for this time. The littlest part, the littlest piece right now is when we're up against is biblical. I mean, it's historical, and everybody's got a calling. Mine just happens to be where I'm going here. For me, I look at it as a miracle. For where I was here, I'm going to tell you this. When I ended up...
God, I can't. I'm trying to do this whole thing, and the rambling. Jesus.
In the White House.
No pun intended.
When Donald Trump reached out to me, here's an ex-crack addict from Minnesota. I'm going, wow, and I'm all nervous, right? And I have the meeting, and the next time
I walk in and he's sniffing, and he's got a drawer full of green Sudafed boxes. I'm like, I know this dude.
The next time I'm in the White House I'll tell this little story. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure it's great. This is okay. New information, new story from Mike Lindell. Everybody, get out your yellow legal pad. Christ.
To people. When I was a kid, I was like 12 years old, and I was a big Elvis Presley. Still am a big Elvis Presley fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was a very famous picture.
Thank you very much.
Of Elvis Presley with Richard Nixon, and it was a very famous picture. And I thought
it is. They both look like vampires. It's very weird.
In my head, I was in my 20s now, and I had done some things I could never. I go, wow, you have to be Elvis Presley to ever meet a president. It wasn't the other way around. My mind went, because I'm going, wow, to meet a president, you'd have to be Elvis Presley, right? And then I thought, there's no way I could ever be in office or anything with my past, right? So here I am. I got invited to the White House and for a manufacturing summit. This was like in 2017. And I walk into that White House and I just get goosebumps. I'm going, wow, this is a miracle, God, that I'm here. On that wall was a picture of Elvis Presley and Richard Nixon. And I got goosebumps. I'm going, wow, here I am. And for me, then I go sit down at this table.
So Trump hung Nixon pictures all over the White House?
There's 12 of us. And this table has no name tag. And I said, who's sitting here? He said, the president is. And so he came in and sat there, and I went on national TV then, the two sitting side by side. All my friends that were addicts, so many of them found Jesus that day and said, amen. This is no way that this is happening, that this crack.
It's incredible that this serial sexual assaulter on his third trophy wife, who's notorious for abusing his kids and making them feel unloved to the point where they become relatively awful human beings, invited that dude, a gullible millionaire who he will probably use either to help with the RNC elections or his own re-election, and that they would get together. It's amazing that the presidency has sunk so low. By the way, presidents have manufacturing roundtables with all kinds of. I mean, Biden's meeting with like nurses.
Crack addict is sitting next to the president. Jesus is real because that's
You think he's the first crack addict to sit next to the president?
impossible, everybody. This is stuff like that is impossible. But things like that led up to me being saved. I want everyone to know this. There was a difference in me believing in God when January 16, 2009, when he set me free of addiction. And for years, you see me wear my cross on TV. I didn't do a full surrender until February 18th, 2017.
So you were using crack that whole time?
2017. There's a difference between believing and just having that personal relationship. And once I did that.
Apparently, you've had this personal relationship for 2 years and you're already telling him to fuck off.
One of the things that left me was this fear. I only had the fear of the Lord. I went out and spoke at US Bank Stadium, 50,000 millennials. And here's a guy that couldn't talk to more than 2 people in the same room, leading them in prayer. And it was just goosebumps, for me. It was just amazing.
Yeah, it's very easy if you're selling Jesus. There's a lot of outlets.
My granddaughter and I, 2 weeks later, we went to an amusement park in Minnesota, and all these millennials and kids that were there at that big Christian thing with bands and preachers and everything, they all came up to me at that amusement park and go, "Hey, we've seen that your thing, your testimony was so amazing, and I found Jesus, and I found this, and I felt so good that my calling, that I was on the right path." It was a confirmation. And my granddaughter finally says,
"Yeah, I feel the same way. Many times at amusement parks, people have come up to me, groups of gay people, people in the LGBT community come up to me and tell me, thank you for doing the work you did on Queer as Folk. And I feel like, yes, I'm on the right path, helping people and trying to use my art for good. And then I have, mixed race families coming up and talking to me and going, we loved Lab Rats. And I feel like I'm doing part of it. And then, of course, on top of that, my pussy bit is classic. Honestly, I mean, they ought to put it on soda cans. So I feel like I got the calling thing. It's a different. I mean, I've had more moments where that's happened to me than all right.
He says, he's my grandpa. We need to go on rides. Like, enough of this.
That's great.
But I just want everybody to not give up hope. Reach out right now and surrender to, and get yourself. And if you're already saved, this is.
No one who watches this except me and my crowd who are looking at you and your bullshit because you were promising more information, not moron information, which is apparently what we get every time. No one who isn't saved is watching this.
This is the time you can really be witnesses for God, because people don't look for hope and look for God, Jesus, unless times are bad.
That's right.
Right now, everybody.
Yeah, that's why the Lord screwed everything, so everybody could find Jesus. Things were going too well.
You want something to do? Go witness to people right now, because they're looking for hope. Yeah. They're looking for hope. And this is the time right now.
What, Hope Hicks is working with the Trump organization. I thought she got a job after.
We get through this and we might lose this opportunity we have.
Yes, what would Mike Pillow be the patron saint of stuffing?
To bring people to Jesus. And, and these aren't, there's no political divide when it comes to Jesus. You're bringing up.
I mean, you're trying to make one.
I'm having people that were complete atheists before, and they're coming up to me going, wow, this couldn't be, they're looking for hope now because they were a Republican, but they didn't believe in God. Now they're going, where's our hope? And they're getting saved. They're getting saved because they're.
Mike, please introduce me to the Republican atheist who found Jesus after Trump lost. Honest to fucking God. Really?
They figure there's no hope, but then they're going, okay, I better get something here, and they get,
Yeah, they're like, well, let's see. I guess since Trump isn't going to be president, God is a good second choice.
Get on their knees, surrender, and get in the Word. And I've had people that I've talked since this has happened. They're a different person. They have more of a peace now when things were going good a year ago in February. Think where this world's went in 1 year, everybody.
Right.
In
Yeah. So they feel better this February than they did last February.
1 year. In February of last year, we were at an all-time high. Consumer confidence, jobs, you name it, across the board.
We entered a recession, lowest interest rates. There was no room for more quantitative easing, and the economy was slowing.
Things were being...
Trump was aware that COVID would kill people, but lied about it.
Done even in the churches. With churches, there were things being lifted, restrictions. There were things being lifted in the faith-based treatment programs. There was stuff that the president did to take restrictions off of that.
Like what? What do you mean, conversion therapy?
We were heading for amazing times.
This is almost over.
Bam. Okay. Well, now's the time you can get people. You think last February people just came rushing to the church and rushing to Jesus?
Yeah, nobody looks around and goes, "Wow, there's something behind the scenes here that's making my life so wonderful. Perhaps it's God." No, they're like, "Oh fuck, I forgot to pray."
No, absolutely not. And then you still had people going, you know, I don't like Trump, but then but they're going, I can't stand Trump. But then they overhear, if they really looked at where their lives were, they're going, wow, things have changed. I wonder why. We had a different input, gives you a different output.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm telling you right now, there's only one input right now that's going to give you.
Yes, you had a different input. Trump was president, and the output was a summer of violent unrest because of cops killing unarmed black men and Breonna Taylor, and a out of control pandemic that he just dropped the reins of and went, I don't know, it's the state's problem.
To give you at home a different output when it comes to your joy and where you're at, and that's Jesus. Bring him in and get him into your heart, and then you won't have any worries.
Yeah, just have him installed. It's outpatient surgery.
Fear of the Lord. I told a guy the other day, I said, you know what? Either way we win. We're either headed to end times, we're all going to heaven and it's going to be glorious, or God's going to give us grace so more people can come with us. Either way we win. Amen.
Amen.
That's good.
That's a good word.
Amen.
Yeah, I think
Either way, if the devil wins, then we kind of win. And if the devil doesn't win, then the world ends and everyone dies but us. And they all suffer in a lake of fire, but we just get to hang out on clouds playing harps.
I think you got a little preach in you there. That's good.
No, he has sales. It's the idiot's version of preaching.
You spoke a lot of truth, and I hope that our viewers will take that.
No, he didn't. He's regurgitating bullshit he heard in church that has obviously not. It is seeds upon sand.
To heart, and if there's anybody watching that has an addiction, or they have a child that has an addiction, or a mate, I hope that they'll.
If you'll recall, if your child has an addiction, according to Deuteronomy, which was cited earlier, you should go to the town elders and have them stoned to death. I mean, they're gluttons and they're gross.
See from your story that there's that absolute hope of recovery, and that hope is Jesus. We personally, our son is a recovered addict. He was an opiate addict, and so we know how that can affect personally. But there is hope, and so we very much appreciate your truth, your transparency. And the step that you've taken right now.
Right. And if you go, it's free right now. It's free. It's the LindellRecoveryNetwork.org. And it's online. It's the best online help. It's also the best directional help. And what you're going to find there.
And if you use the promo code Mike.
Is hope matches where you're gonna put in your age and your addiction. And these people need to be success. Like people that see me, here's a 50-some-year-old ex-crack addict. I'll tell you, when I preach, everybody will, the crack addicts are going, wow, and they can relate. So they find me, it validates things more. Well, on this website, you're gonna put in 20-year-old heroin addict, and all these heroin addicts that were 20 years old, they've all been set free. So they're the ones that are talking to you directly, going, hey, here's where.
Is there a little H next to their name if they're holding?
Where I'm at, here's where my heart is now, and then you have the help. So you have the hope, the best hope, the best help, and it's
like J-Date for heroin addicts.
It's an amazing thing that the help that's there for them.
That's very powerful.
That's a great formula for success.
Yes.
Without hope, you don't have much. But I go back to Jeremiah 29:11 always, and I know the plans that I have for you, plans to give you hope and a future. And so I'm glad that you're part of that, and I hope that we're a part of it as well.
I hope you start selling your pillows on here. We would love to get you as a sponsor on the network.
And we have so much enjoyed your time with us. And
Can you please shut up, because we got to move
love
on.
to do this again at some point.
She looks super excited. Shut this guy down.
Time as things go. Go ahead.
No, I just want to encourage the viewers to support you again, to go out, purchase a My Pillow, to visit your website, and to put their support behind the patriotism. And not just that, not we're not believing in country over God. We do believe in God, and then but we do believe in standing up for our country, and we do believe in supporting patriots.
Right. And you can use promo code Mike. Use promo code.
Oh my God,
Mike, and
it's almost like you got a little preacher in you, and by preacher I mean a branding specialist who's is always selling, always be selling.
I don't normally do that, but this is to help my employees because
that's why you don't normally. Nobody does. He doesn't normally use promo codes.
I'm out there leading this, and what they've done is they've tried to hurt My Pillow. Use promo code Mike. You save.
You hurt Mike Pillow.
Up to 66%. We have 110 products. So if you have the pillows, you're not just, I know so many people say, Mike, I bought 10 more pillows to support you. You guys, we have bathrobes, towels, sheets. We have, we have 100.
Yeah,
10 products, and they're amazing.
Yeah, ABC, always be closing. Yep.
Every one of them I've done it. We've either created or vetted it, and they're going to help you too. So, you know.
Well, yesterday I saw a tweet. I don't know if you're familiar with Stella Emanuel. She's one of the frontline doctors. She's the one, I believe, from Africa. And so she's just moving into her house, and she tweeted, and she has she bought 2 My Pillows, and she gave a shout out to you. Look, Mike, I've got 2 My Pillows, and this is how I'm helping support you, brother. We're behind you. So I think that's awesome. There's people that are behind you, and that's what we need.
Isn't that that's the demon semen lady.
Well, God bless you all, and thanks for having me on. And everybody, keep the faith.
Amen. Hey, thank you for joining us.
Ironically, dude.
Above. God bless you and keep you as our prayer. We just want to encourage you and hope that you've enjoyed the show today. We talked.
No, it's really frightening. It's very it's been a waste of time. But Mike can't say nobody paid attention, because I sure as shit did. Again. My goodness, we're already at 6:39. We went long again. I barely cracked into the other stuff. There's still should we one last time we'll check in to where the are they done for the night? What happened? Did they not? It's live, isn't it? It's day 1. Why are
there are some other
all day long.
Who is?
Good job, guys. It's perfect.
Yeah, guys, it was perfect. Behind the scenes at RSBN, this is sweet. Oh, they're swapping out. This is the turnover. Look at that. We're doing great. Awesome. Yeah, get in there, take your mask off. This is the rules. Everybody else is masked on the other side because the convention center rules. Let her log in. Can we get in and see the credentials in there? It's Jesus Saves, right? Hashtag Jesus Saves. I tell you. I mean, this is the level of programming you expect from a company that gets $100 super chats about every 10 minutes. Is it just me, or does she kind of look like the girl from the Warriors' stunt double? I like the background music though. I think it's good that they've got. It's nice that when you're transitioning, just have.
Hey everybody, thank you so much. Of course, you just saw our great partner Mike Lindell, who has been helping us continue to stay on the road through patriots like you who support his company. So again, hats off to Mike. Thank you so much. Liz and I are here in CPAC.
They do, if not more. It's ridiculous. I'm gonna post a picture. Yeah, it's like Comic-Con for people who hate democracy. Oh God! All right, I'm gonna retire it for the night because we went long yesterday, and I don't need to bury you guys day after day. But just remember, we'll send you off on this with a Bible verse. I think it's appropriate today in honor of Mike Lindell and the folks at whatever that Christian network was. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to dive into the prophets, because there's some fairly hilarious folks who have been eating crow for dinner for weeks, who are Christian prophets who've been selling this BS. Here it is. So this is staying on Deuteronomy in terms of the chapter that was cited earlier. 28. If a man happens to meet a virgin who is not pledged to be married and rapes her, and they are discovered, he shall pay her father 50 shekels of silver. He must marry the young woman, for he has violated her. He can never divorce her for as long as he lives. You think they argued the "and they're discovered" part? See, if you rape her and you get away with it, I mean, it's free. And if she doesn't survive, obviously, you might even make money on the deal if she had any honor. Let's see. There's a lot to it. This is the same one, by the way. Like, if a man happens to meet in a town a virgin pledged to be married and he sleeps with her, you shall take both of them to the gate of the town and stone them to death. So they're both, if they did this. The young woman, because he was in town and did not scream for help, and the man, because he violated another man's wife, you must purge the evil from among you. But if out in the country a man happens to meet a young woman pledged to be married and he rapes her, only the man who has done this shall die. So she doesn't have to die if she screams. Do nothing to the woman. She has committed no sin deserving death. The case is like that of someone who attacks and murders a neighbor, which I think involves you have to break a cow's neck. For the man found the young woman out in the country, and though the betrothed woman screamed, there was no one to rescue her. So you have to scream, ladies, or it's not Deuteronomy. I'm just saying. And by the way, no circumcision. No one who has been emasculated by crushing or cutting may enter the assembly of the Lord. So don't smash your balls with a rock. No one born of a forbidden marriage, nor of any of their descendants, may enter the assembly of the Lord, not even in the 10th generation. Wow, that's a lot. Criminy. Oh, there's a lot of rules around there. I guess as long as we're crafting laws based on that shit, I think we're okay. Thank you guys for joining me today. Woof. The rest of by the way, tomorrow, is of course Friday. We'll be on at the regular time, and then Saturday the radio show is on, and of course we take calls. I'm working on guests for that. Fingers crossed. I've learned to, I've only had to punt once, so I feel good. And last week we had Dee Snider and the Major, and it was just amazing. So hopefully we'll be able to land a couple more people. We're working on that for tomorrow. Part of it has to do with what's coming up this weekend as far as stories and whatnot. I'm going to leave you with this. Reconciliation. Do we have any word on whether or not reconciliation, they said it should be included, the $15 minimum wage as part of reconciliation. Let's see if I can find out, because if that's happened while we've been, there's been a wait. Whoops, where am I? Oh, I'm in the wrong one. Okay. Let's see. News. Senate. Yeah, okay. Senate rules says Democrats can't put $15 minimum wage in COVID relief bill. The parliamentarian said that the provision violates the rules and cannot be included. Go back and check my tweet about that. Go back and look at my tweet about what I said. I said I would love it if the $15 minimum wage was included in the COVID relief bill. There's no way it should be, though. It is absolutely a violation of the rules. It does not, in the broadest possible terms, they have no budgetary control unless it was like a $15 minimum wage for federal workers, that kind of thing. But we're already past that. Federal workers already make more than that most of the time. I don't know if there's a contractor's rule where they could expand it, but there is no way that ever. There was no way that was ever going to be a part of it. It makes no sense to try and add it to budget reconciliation. And quite frankly, a lot of Republicans, and it's a tiered system. It doesn't go straight to 15. It allows it to gradually happen so that if there is some unforeseen financial effects and people start losing their jobs in areas because of the rise, that they could, amend the law and temper it for a time in certain areas or adjust it, because that's how you actually act like an adult when you're crafting laws. Just you recognize that there may be unforeseen consequences that may be negative from something that you're trying to do that's positive. See the gig worker law in California, if you want to see what I mean. This is I think it needs to be on its own because I think Republicans need to sign on to it, but there was no way that made sense. No way. So I write again. I'm just saying. Go check my tweet about it. I mean, everybody was waiting. Everybody's like, I don't know, maybe, and blah, blah, blah. And the Progressive Caucus was going, we think it should be in there. Well, you think it should be in there because people deserve to be making $15 an hour. That doesn't mean that's how it happens. There were a bunch of people saying that the people elected us to get things done, and if we don't get this done, then they're going to be pissed. Well, if I ask you, if you promise that we're going to have dinner, and you're going to supply the food, and then you don't have the food because you don't have any money, I'm not going to go, well, go steal someone's food and feed me. You know what I mean? I'm going to go, no, I understand. Okay, well, let's figure out the problem then, and we'll both eat. But obviously, you did the best within the ethical constraints that you're in. Don't break the law to fulfill a promise. Solve the problem and fulfill that promise. Make the case. Do a 50-state push for the $15 minimum wage during the time when the bill is crafted, and then eventually pass it with a simple majority, or get enough Republicans on board over the next few months. Your job is not to just get it passed. Your job is to craft a version of it where it is incredibly popular, convey that message, and also get it passed. It's not just, gun to the head. Otherwise, what's the difference between, rigging the system like Trump in that regard? So, anyways, I'm just saying, I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for being with me today. And remember, and by the way, let's on today's, today's homework. If you have a friend or a family member who's in the LGBT community, and that you haven't talked to regularly. Some people you just, if it's in your regular circle, cool. But if it's outside your regular circle and you haven't seen them in a bit or whatever, reach out to them, either via social media or give them a call, text. How you doing? Just reach out and go, hey, love you, you're awesome. Proud of you. Whatever message you think is appropriate for your friend, let them know you care about them. Because these kind of attacks, when they happen on the floor of the house and stuff and this kind of bullshit, if it's not a directed attack on yourself, you may be disgusted, but you may not be aware of how deeply it can hurt people. And so it helps that somebody reminds you that you're loved when other people are trying to convince you that you're not. So to all my QA family out there and my dear friends in the LGBTQ community, I love you, I see you, I support you, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. And one day we will all get together and we can talk WandaVision or something. Either way, take care of yourself and take care of somebody else, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.